Good morning, Manitoba. It is Monday, August 11th. You're watching CTV Morning Live. Thank you so much for being with us this morning. Ainsley McPhail is continuing her journey around the world. She's visiting Folklorama's French-Canadian Pavilion. Those are my people we're talking about. We're going to talk about the food, the dance, the celebrations that are happening there this week for Folklorama. But first, your headlines. Potential turbulence. Air Canada flight attendants protest as strike deadline nears, why flights can't take off without them. Peace talks or power play. Trump and Putin plan to meet without Ukraine, drawing sharp criticism from President Zelensky. And the coolest party in town, 4 giant pandas in China enjoy frosted birthday cakes with all their favorite snacks. Bringing in Terry Gale now. Good morning, Terry. I'm back.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
Did you have a good time off? That was forever, it seemed.
Well, it was 3 weeks, the longest I've ever taken for a vacation. I got to visit a lot of family, a lot of friends, did some camping in Blue Lakes Resort, saw Archie and Dawn and Peyton and McKenna. It was wonderful. We had a wonderful 3 weeks. It felt really nice and long, too. I feel like I had a real
it felt long. Yeah, it sure did. No, I'm so happy for you, but happy that you got that bit of a break as well.
How has it been here?
Well, I mean, still smoky. That's what we're waking up to this morning. There's a look outside. Visibility is only about 5 kilometers at this time. Winds, they're out of the south-southwest, 19 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling, the humidity at 91%. We are above seasonal, though, to start out at 17 degrees. 12 is, in fact, a normal low temperature. We're not under the smoke warning. We are under the smoke advisory. That's all of the yellow that you're seeing here right now. And then for the parts of northern Manitoba, it's the purple. That's that heavy smoke warning. So either way, we're dealing with the smoke right across Manitoba once again. There's also perhaps going to be a little bit of precipitation. So here's a look right now at the satellite image right through the southwestern part of the province. You can see moving through Dauphin, just on that southern border as well, and making its way toward us. We could find ourselves right in the path of some showers or some thunderstorms, and that goes right up into northern Manitoba as well. Precipitation across the north never reads on our satellite image, but Futurecast will give us an idea of how things will play out. And yes, there will likely be, no matter where you are today, that chance of showers or possible thunderstorms. It does look like it clears out somewhat, but then another scattered precipitation, maybe not quite as much, still expected through Tuesday. And then by Wednesday, things are looking a little bit clearer. Temperature-wise, slightly below seasonal, so 25 is actually normal for this time of year. Next few days, just a little cooler than that. We spike for a day and settle down on the other side.
Thank you, Terry. An update now to a story we first told you about last week. The Manitoba Nurses Union says its members have voted in favor of grey listing the Health Sciences Centre. The MNU says members voted 94% in favor of applying the designation to Winnipeg's biggest hospital. The move is largely symbolic and essentially means nurses have declared HSC is an unsafe working environment. The vote comes after a series of sexual assaults in July, targeting HSC staff and members of the public. In a release late Friday afternoon, the MNU says the designation will stay in place until Shared Health and the HSC follow through on a list of recommendations. Shared Health's interim president says it takes the vote seriously. They say Shared Health is working with stakeholders to increase security at HSC, including improvements to parkade security, reducing the number of public entrances, and adding 100 new security cameras. It adds Shared Health continues to explore other security measures. A potential trouble in the skies. Air Canada flight attendants in 4 major cities are preparing to protest today while talks continue to reach an agreement before Friday. The impact of a strike could be major on the thousands who travel with the airline each day. As CTV's Kamil Karamali tells us, without flight attendants, flights can't be cleared for takeoff.
Good to go.
The Bracco family, locked and loaded, ready for their dream vacation in Italy. There's just one thing weighing on them.
I know that there's a potential for the strike, and if we end up having to stay, then we stay.
More than 10,000 Air Canada flight attendants could go on strike as early as Saturday, just past midnight, if a new agreement isn't reached with Air Canada. Flight attendants are also taking part in what they call a mobilization on Monday, simultaneously at airports in Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, and and Calgary.
You'll see flight attendants in their uniforms standing in silence in support of their union.
Their union at the bargaining table with Air Canada throughout this week. The previous 10-year contract expired back in March. The union says key sticking points are wages, work rules, and unpaid hours, claiming they're not paid for a lot of the work they do.
Such as our safety regulatory checks, boarding, deplaning. If we have a medical emergency on the ground, we're not compensated for that.
While Air Canada says it remains at the table and is focused on achieving a deal with the union. For passengers, travel experts say it's too soon to cancel travel plans, but a better idea would be to buy a refundable ticket with another airline as a backup plan.
In case the strike does not happen, they will then, of course, be able to get their monies back. And if it does happen, they were smart. They did it.
For 11-year-old Dania Masoudi, it's a little too late leaving for Morocco.
I hope that it's not an issue because I really want to get back like August 20th, August 19th for my birthday.
Hoping for the gift of spending her birthday with her dad, with thousands of other passengers also hoping the two sides land on an agreement. Kamal Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
A closely watched federal by-election is playing out in Alberta with advanced voting open through this evening. Conservative Party leader Pierre Poilievre is hoping to win to restore his position in the House of Commons. After more than 20 years representing an Ottawa area riding, Poilievre lost to a Liberal challenger in the spring election. He's now running in what's considered a safe Conservative seat in Alberta, Battle River Crowfoot. 214 candidates are vying for the spot, the vast majority of whom were recruited by activist group The Longest Ballot Committee.
I think that what he seems to be having right now in terms of a margin is huge, right? Like is definitely big enough that even if some of the other candidates on the ballot manage to get somewhere, it's not going to be anything like a vote split or anything that would cause a problem for Poilievre.
A victory would set the stage for Poilievre to officially return as leader of the opposition. He had to step away from the position after losing his previous seat. Due to the large number of candidates, voters will be writing the name of their choice when they cast a ballot. The official voting day is the 18th of this month. Experts and advocates are warning that current Canadian regulations aren't keeping pace with the rise of AI-generated hate online. They say Canada is lagging behind when it comes to addressing the risk hateful content poses to public safety. Two bills aimed at addressing harmful online content and establishing a regulatory AI framework died when Parliament was prorogued in January. Justice Minister Sean Fraser told the Canadian press in June that the federal government will take a fresh look at the Online Harms Act, but it hasn't decided whether to rewrite or simply reintroduce it. U.S. President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin are just days away from meeting face-to-face in the hopes of reaching a deal to end the war in Ukraine.
Will be, of course, about security guarantees, but also about the absolute need to acknowledge that Ukraine decides on its own future, that Ukraine has to be a sovereign nation.
As it stands now, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky will not be at the meeting. A White House official has said that President Trump is willing to include the Ukrainian president, but Putin had initially requested it to be only between him and Trump. President Zelensky says agreements without input from Kyiv will amount to, quote, dead decisions. Meanwhile, European leaders signed a joint statement this weekend on achieving peace in Ukraine while protecting Ukrainian and European interests. A special event was held recently in China to celebrate the birthdays of 4 giant pandas. Each panda was given a birthday cake made from large ice blocks. The cakes were topped with over 20 ingredients, including bamboo shoots, broccoli, corn, and cucumbers. As music artists aim for a #1 single, several tracks from a recent Netflix movie are having a strong run at the top of the charts. That song is called Golden, and it's from the recent animated film K-pop Demon Hunters. It tells the story of a fictional K-pop group who also happen to battle demons by night. Golden has been the #1 track on Spotify's daily chart for 49 days so far. It's also reached the top of the Billboard Global 200 and #2 on the Hot 100. That came as K-pop Demon Hunters secured its spot as the most streamed animated film on Netflix to date. Here's a look at what's happening outside on the Norwood Bridge right now. It looks like things are moving quite well. It's hazy out there, though, as you can see, and that could be affecting your visibility out in traffic. If you see any problems out there, please let us know. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at CTV this morning. We are talking about Folklorama and the French-Canadian Pavilion. Good morning.
Rochelle, good morning and welcome back. I think there's something wrong with the notes because on Friday, we were in the Italian Pavilion. Today we're at the French-Canadian Pavilion, so I feel like I should invite you here with me. This pavilion's been around since 1989. What's cool about it, too, is that they've brought every single flag from every single province and territory to represent the French people within those spaces. We're talking food, we're going to have some fudge, we're going to see a jig, and we're going to be doing a weaving demonstration coming up at 6:37. Don't go anywhere. You're not going to want to miss this.
Oh, wow. Well, that'll be a fun one, I know, because it's fun to be at the French Pavilion. All right, let's go out to the rooftop now. It's also fun being outside, or it still smells like smoke?
There's still some smoke out here. I feel like it was worse when I first got into the cab this morning. I'm not noticing it quite as bad. Don't get me wrong. I can still kind of smell it and see it. We're still waiting for the sun to be up, actually. 6:12 is official sunrise this morning, so I mean close enough. We're a minute away. And there's just a few clouds out here, lit up kind of pretty in pink. It would be a beautiful start to the morning if it weren't for that smoke. 17 degrees is where we're sitting right now, slightly above seasonal, with a 16K wind out of the south-southwest, the pressure falling, and the humidity sitting at 92%. We will enjoy some sunshine today, but the possibility is there that we get rolled over by some showers, maybe some thunderstorms. And no matter where you are in the province, that possibility is there. There will be some very scattered precipitation, but right across the entire province today. So the possibility of showers and thunderstorms, but unfortunately still that smoke. While we're only under the statement or advisory here across southern Manitoba, much of northern Manitoba remains under that heavy smoke warning. And the precipitation could make an appearance again tomorrow. Then we're looking at a little more sunshine throughout the middle of the week. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Good morning, it is 6:15. One group of evacuees recently forced from their community is taking steps to improve living conditions. They're leaving Winnipeg. People from Nisitchawayatzik Cree Nation, located at Nelson House, have been staying in the Winnipeg Convention Centre, but not for much longer. A post on the community social media page says the chief and council have heard the community's concerns about the accommodations in Winnipeg, so arrangements have been made for NCN evacuees to relocate to Niagara Falls, Ontario. The plan is to travel to Hamilton first, and then they will be taken to Niagara Falls, where up to 1,000 people will be put up in hotels. Another tough weekend for firefighters across the country, renewing calls for National Fire Administration and Agency. Here's CTV's Kathy Lee with the latest on the wildfire battles.
The air is clearer in the Kawartha Lakes region, a dramatic shift.
You could literally look at the end of our driveway and see big plumes of dark smoke.
Dozens of fire crews in the Ontario area working to contain an out-of-control wildfire. In Newfoundland, the Kingston wildfire growing to over 5,000 hectares, the Premier confirming damages to structures in various communities.
Please know our hearts are with each and every one of you.
And in BC, the Wesley Ridge wildfire on Vancouver Island had minimal growth, but still remains out of control. Persistent hot and dry conditions into the week will further compromise air quality.
As the fire gets a little bit more heat and that direct sunlight, we can expect to see a lot more smoke.
Experts say this year's wildfire season is the second worst on record, renewing calls for a national fire administration.
The benefit national administration is really around coordination and the reallocation of resources all across Canada in times when they need it the most.
Others calling for a national wildfire agency with more resources to deploy where they are needed during a surge.
There's just too many fires, there's not enough resources. We call on help from around the world and from the Canadian Armed Forces, but we should be able to handle this on our own.
The Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Centre plays a critical role in coordinating resources between provinces. But in the case of Newfoundland, there is a delay.
The two water bombers from Ontario have been advised, we've been advised there is a delay as they deal with wildfires in their own province.
The federal government says that work is underway to improve Canada's wildfire response capacity, including better coordination across jurisdictions and building long-term resilience. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
Israel is defending its plan to take over Gaza City after being heavily criticized at an emergency meeting for the UN Security Council.
These are war crimes. And those who drew their maps in blood must not walk in the shadow of impunity.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the best way to end the war in Gaza is to take control of Gaza City. He also pushed back against accusations Israel is starving people in Gaza. While facing criticism from a number of ambassadors Sunday, the U.S. defended Israel, saying the U.S. has been working tirelessly to free hostages and end the war. Thousands of protesters have taken to the streets across Israel to oppose the plan over fears it could endanger the lives of the remaining hostages in Gaza. And a funeral was held this morning for a prominent Al Jazeera journalist who was killed along with 4 colleagues in an Israeli airstrike. Anas al-Sharif was one of the network's most recognizable faces in Gaza. He was killed by an airstrike in Gaza City Sunday night. 7 people were killed in the strike. We're learning more about the man who opened fire on the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention headquarters in Atlanta Friday. 30-year-old Patrick Joseph White is said to have blamed the COVID-19 vaccine for making him depressed and suicidal. On Friday, police say he tried to enter the CDC facility but was stopped by guards. He then drove across the street and opened fire, killing a police officer. He was later found dead. White's father told police he had become fixated on the COVID-19 vaccine, and a neighbor said he spoke to her multiple times about his distrust of vaccines. The CDC is demanding federal officials unequivocally condemn vaccine misinformation, saying it is putting scientists at risk. The Assiniboine Park needs your help to name a new arrival. A male muskox has arrived at the Journey to Churchill area of the zoo. Assiniboine Park Zoo says he's already getting along with a 1-year-old female muskox, besides the odd headbutt when they're sharing food. The muskox is laying low for now, but will become part of the exhibit once it gets more comfortable with its new surroundings.
You know, he's a very curious boy, and he's around over 240 pounds, which is small, but you know, because muskox can be up to 900 pounds, so he's gonna be a big boy most likely.
The zoo wants you to vote for your favorite name, and here are the choices: Rumble, Shaggy, Muskoka, or Stoic. To vote, visit assiniboinepark.ca. The voting closes just before midnight tonight. Here's a look now what's happening at Kenaston and Sterling Lyon. Things appear to be picking up over here and moving quite well. No issues to tell you about at this point. If you see problems out there, though, please let us know.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
Looking now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. And again, it's the smoke that we're waking up to this morning, with the possibility of some showers or some thunderstorms throughout the day today. Temperature-wise, we are above seasonal. 12 degrees now would be a normal low temperature. So we're starting out well above that, as is most of southern Manitoba. As you can see, a little bit closer to those more seasonal temperatures. We've got Sprague at 13, but most of us, though, mid to even high teens this morning. Moving across northern Manitoba, most places in the double digits, only slightly cooler in Churchill at 9 degrees, but you'll be making some gains today. Now, no matter where you are, there is the possibility of some precipitation today, which may help with the smoke. We can keep our fingers crossed, because it is still very prevalent through much of northern Manitoba, and still an issue here in the south. In fact, with us at about 5 kilometers of visibility, I would have expected that to be a slightly upgraded version of that, but it's not. It's just the advisory or the statement. issued for southern Manitoba. Here's a look at the satellite image right now at the precipitation that we're currently seeing, but throughout the day, nearly everybody has that chance of seeing some showers or possible thunderstorms. As we watch the temperatures rise today, we will remain slightly below seasonal. Noontime temps put us just into those low 20s, topping out at about 23. That'll be early this afternoon, and then maybe starting to drop off a little bit more into the evening time. That chance of showers and thunderstorms continues overnight and through tomorrow as well. Then it's back to the sunshine with a little spike of heat, setting us up for some more potential storms. How stunning is this? The sun setting on the sunflowers. Thanks to Gia for the photo, and keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg weather at ctv.ca. We're taking a break, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Good morning. Puzzles have moved beyond just a hobby. For one Ontario couple, each piece is helping them build something special. CTV's Carol Charles has the story.
If you thought puzzles were a thing of the past, think again.
Thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Take care.
Bruce Donnelly and his wife Trista Donnelly, owners of Puzzles Canada, are trying to make room for the next set of orders.
I'm working on an order for Gibsons.
In 2003, the couple opened Squirts Toys and Learning, a toy store in Georgetown. Both had given up their full-time jobs as a brewer and a contract billing associate, running the store for 17 years until COVID hit. In 2020, they pivoted from running the toy store to concentrating on puzzles, operating out of a new location.
Every aisle was filled with puzzle boxes, so we kind of knew from there that we needed to go further than just the toy store. So yeah, it was a bit of a risk. It was kind of a nerve-wracking risk.
A risk they say has paid off.
We just ran with it. And when we started this, it's just like we're going to go all in, and we're going to make it as big as we can and offer our customers the best selection from brands from around the world.
The store carries 93 brands with over 10,000 different puzzles. On average, they ship 80 to 150 orders per day and approximately 3,500 orders per month, reaching clients across Canada and the U.S. And what is the appeal about puzzles?
A lot of people find it very, very meditative. They like to sit down with an image and just lose themselves.
There's a lot of good pictures and designs out there now that probably weren't there 20 years ago.
For those who take puzzles much more seriously, speed puzzling offers a real challenge. The goal is to assemble puzzles as quickly as possible. This past May, more than 700 puzzle enthusiasts took part in the Canadian National Speed Puzzling Competition in Georgetown, sponsored in part by Puzzles Canada. Some able to finish a 500-piece puzzle in just under 40 minutes.
It can be very competitive. So there's a lot of people that will practice yearly.
And many are shopping Canadian.
So we have Arcadia, Villager, Hollier, White, The Occurrence, and Jackaroo.
To meet the growing demand, Bruce and Trista are hoping to open another location next year. Carol Charles, CTV News.
Coming up, Ainsley is live at the French-Canadian Pavilion this morning. Stay with us for more on that.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
It's looking a little bit smoky out there still, but brighter now that the sun is rising a little higher over the downtown area. 17 degrees is where our temperatures sit with those south-south winds, 16 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 92%. Yeah, a little bit of that pinkish glow. We're just at that time where the sun is coming up now, rising a little bit later each day, but setting a little bit earlier. So now sunrise is happening at about 6:12, but sundown is happening before 9 p.m. Just before the weekend, we were still sitting at 9 o'clock, but that is no longer the case, about 8:56 or something. It's close to 9, but still, it's before 9. Anyway, back to the smoke. Let's talk about this. Warnings all through northern Manitoba, statements or advisories issued here throughout parts of the south and central Manitoba, and you can see it outside. We're hoping for a little bit of relief. Some precipitation is expected today, and here's a look at it right now on the satellite image. So showers or possible thunderstorms, that's how today will play out, and nearly everybody across the province can expect to see some of that. 23 degrees keeps us just a little bit below seasonal, 25 normal for this time of year. We'll also get that breeze increasing out of the southwest, gusting to about 40 kilometers per hour. Still with that southwest wind overnight as we drop to 15, chance of showers and thunderstorms continuing, and still tomorrow as well. Even cooler yet at 20 degrees, wind shifting out of the northwest. And from there, we'll probably look at a little bit of a sunnier day on Wednesday and then a hotter day on Thursday, but only for a day. We're back to those slightly below seasonal temperatures toward the end of the week and weekend.
Thank you, Terry. The city of Winnipeg has a warning about a scam. It involves text messages saying you have an unpaid parking ticket. The messages look something like this. The text message impersonates the Winnipeg Parking Authority and asks you to pay your outstanding fines by opening a link. Here's what to watch out for. The messages are sent from a phone number with a country code 63. That's a country code for the Philippines. The city says the Winnipeg Parking Authority doesn't send out text messages, but its collections agency does. These legitimate texts always direct the recipient to call Winnipeg WPG 311 to validate. If you get a text about unpaid parking tickets and you're unsure about it, call 311. An Ontario mall owner is challenging a BC billionaire's plans to take over 25 former Hudson's Bay leases across the country. In new filings with the Ontario Superior Court, Cadillac Fairview says Ruby Liu's plan, quote, defies commercial common sense. The landlord alleges she has no brand, experienced staff, or track record in retail and is strongly opposed to her becoming a tenant at some of its malls. Liu owns 3 BC shopping malls. She says she wants to buy about 24 Bay stores and turn them into her own department store. She claims they would be ready to open within 180 days of obtaining the leases. With summer still in full swing, it's hard to believe back to school shopping is already underway, and this year it's coming with sticker shock as parents get a lesson on navigating tariffs. CTV's Abigail Beeman has more.
The trade war has this mom shopping around.
I'm looking more for secondhand, more of it, so I'm buying on the marketplace.
Back to school shopping in full swing at Ottawa's thrifted mini consignment store, with parents looking to escape tariff headaches and costs.
It's definitely been a lot busier than last year. We're looking at a bigger increase in sales and a lot more new people, fresh faces that are coming in.
89% of Canadian parents think back-to-school costs have climbed, according to a new study from Rakuten, with nearly 3 in 4 admitting to going over budget, most blaming inflation.
Things like electronics, footwear, apparel, and those items are going to see fairly high increases in price.
Retail experts say tariffs are having an impact, but for a few reasons it's hard to say exactly how big. Some stores loaded up on inventory ahead of tariffs, and those prices should stay stable. At the same time, Bruce Winder says costs can climb from big brands harmonizing prices in the U.S. and Canada, or even jacking up prices just because they know customers are mentally prepared for it, as happened in COVID.
Because supply chains are mucked up here, we might see shortages of items too. So if you really need a certain item, you may have to sort of strike while the iron's hot if it's on the shelf. But all things equal, try to look for that sale.
Another piece of consumer advice: resist the urge to buy supplies until after your children start school.
People are unintentionally or unknowingly turning a want into a need and using the tariffs to justify that without really actually knowing for sure if it's needed.
If you can wait, there will still be sales after Labor Day as stores need to clear out inventory, while the full impact of the trade war may not be clear until next year's back-to-school shopping season.
Pride is the best word to describe the mood of an Interlake First Nation on Saturday. Peguis First Nation held a community celebration Saturday for Carter Bear. Bear played in the Western Hockey League and was recently drafted 13th overall earlier this year by the Detroit Red Wings. Chief Stanbird described the proud feeling the community is feeling about Bear's accomplishment.
I mean, we haven't stopped telling people where he's from and what our connections are to the community, and it's a real positive thing for our youth to see, to be a part of. It really is a part of history. So what other 18-year-old Indigenous person is being drafted by the Detroit Red Wings? I mean, just walking into that's history itself, right?
Bear was busy signing Detroit Red Wings shirts in celebration of being drafted by the Red Wings. Organizers also offered free hot wings. A very furry mountain climber needed some assistance coming down from a summit in northwest England on the weekend. This is Prince the Husky. According to rescue workers in the Lake District, they received a call from a lone walker who was trying to carry the 35-kilogram or 77-pound dog down from the mountain. They say the dog had cut its paws and wasn't able to walk by himself. The owner called for help when he realized he was starting to fall on steep ground. The rescue staff say Prince was happy to get on the stretcher to get carried down, and they hope his paws heal quickly. Here's a look at what's happening outside now at Confusion Corner. It looks like things are moving well over here, but you can see that haze in the air. The smoke is still affecting the drive in this morning. Let's look now at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial average is lower at $1.33. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.24. The lowest price in the city is $1.27. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
Price at the pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at CCFM this morning. We're talking about Folklorama, and we're continuing our tour, stopping in at the French Pavilion. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. The French Canadian Pavilion has so much to see, so much to taste, and maybe so much to do. Miriam Leclerc joins us to tell us all about it. She's the pavilion coordinator. And before we get to the weaving, now these pieces are stunning. Let's talk about this pavilion. It's been around since 1989. You told me off the top that people really come for the shows.
Yes, we have l'Ensemble Folklorique La Rivière Rouge who's performing with us, and it's always a very lively show with full of energy, with jigging and square dancing. So it's always like a great show to see.
Mm-hmm. And you actually have people coming here who, like interpreters, who can answer questions, and because it's great to see the culture and be immersed in it, but you want your questions answered too.
Yes, so like our cultural display, we have La Compagnie de la Vérandrie who's here, who are historical interpreters who talk about the arrival of French people here in Western Canada, and it's always like very knowledgeable people, and you can learn about it and learn about the French Canadian culture as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, here at the CCFM too, what a perfect place to be able to do that, of course. Such a beautiful, thriving French Canadian community here in Manitoba. Let's talk about the weaving, the pattern. So it's not necessarily the color you were telling me. The pattern itself is what identifies certain French Canadian people to different parts of Canada.
Yes. So like the pattern that we see right there is similar to the pattern that we call Assomption, which is a region in Quebec, and they started doing certain patterns of weaving or hand weaving, and it technically has like a lightning pattern on the sides, and then what we call a point de flèche or an arrowhead in the middle. So it can be different colors, and the different sizes of thread will change how the pattern looks and the way they weave it. But then you can do all types of things with hand weaving and all types of pattern, depending on the colors you have, depending on the thickness of a sash, and it gives you really, now today with all the colors that we have, we can really do a lot of different things.
You know what? This was going to be a demonstration of you showing me how to do it. We're simply out of time. I'm so sorry. So the failure will have to happen off camera. That's okay. You got to come to this pavilion. It's great.
Sounds good. Thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. Good morning, Terry. How's it feeling out there?
Feeling not too bad. I can finally see the sun. It's risen just above the buildings in the downtown area, glowing red right now, which is the tendency that happens when we're dealing with as much smoke in the air as we currently are. That smoke advisory, or the statement, has been issued or remains in place over southern Manitoba. It is a straight-up warning in parts of the north. It's 17 degrees right now in the city with 16K winds out of the south-southwest. The pressure is falling, the humidity sitting at 92%. There's just a few clouds out here. We'll probably see a few more of them building up through the day today. Yes, the smoke is certainly a factor. maybe some precipitation will help that. No matter where you are in the province today, there's a very good chance that you'll be getting clipped with some showers or perhaps some thunderstorms. Temperatures today, they'll be a little bit shy of seasonal here in the south, topping out in the low 20s or mid-20s. Low to mid-20s for the most part. That's probably where much of northern Manitoba will end up as well, in those low to mid-20s. Possible showers, maybe some thunderstorms. Hopefully that'll help with the smoke. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
Looking at the early markets, futures across major indexes are showing positive momentum. Dow futures are up 111 points. NASDAQ futures are modestly higher by 22 points, and S&P futures are also trading higher, up 9. The Canadian dollar is seeing a slight increase this morning. Overseas, the Hang Seng is rising, up 47 points, while Japan's Nikkei is surging, up 761 points. Good morning, it is 6:45. An update now to a story we first told you about last week. The Manitoba Nurses Union says its members have voted in favor of grey listing the Health Sciences Centre. The MNU says members voted 94% in favor of applying the designation to Winnipeg's biggest hospital. The move is largely symbolic and essentially means nurses have declared HSC is an unsafe working environment. The vote comes after a series of sexual assaults in July targeting HSC staff and members of the public. In a release late Friday afternoon, the MNU says the designation will stay in place until Shared Health and the HSC follow through on a list of recommendations. Shared Health's interim president says it takes the vote seriously. They say Shared Health is working with stakeholders to increase security at HSC, including improvements to parkade security, reducing the number of public entrances, and adding 100 new security cameras. It adds Shared Health continues to explore other security measures. Advanced polls for a by-election in the Alberta riding of Battle River Crowfoot close tonight.
I think that what he seems to be having right now in terms of a margin is huge, right? Like it's definitely big enough that even if some of the other candidates on the ballot manage to get somewhere, it's not going to be anything like a vote split or anything that would cause a problem for Poilievre.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is hoping to regain a seat in Parliament by running there after more than 20 years representing an Ottawa area riding. He lost to a Liberal candidate in April's federal election. 214 people are running in the by-election, which is the largest federal ballot in Canadian history. Voters must fill out their ballot instead of the standard list-style ballot. Election night is on August 18th. What could be a major development in the war in Ukraine, U.S. President Donald Trump's upcoming meeting on Friday with Russian President Vladimir Putin in Alaska. U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance says the U.S. is working to set up a meeting that would include Trump, Putin, and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at a future date after the Trump-Putin meeting. Vance also tells Fox News any peace deal likely won't make either Russia or Ukraine satisfied.
We're at a point now where we're now trying to figure out, frankly, scheduling and things like that around when these three leaders could sit down and discuss an end to this conflict. If you take where the current line of contact between Russia and Ukraine is, we're going to try to find some negotiated settlement that the Ukrainians and the Russians can live with, where they can live in relative peace, where the killing stops. It's not going to make anybody super happy. Both the Russians and the Ukrainians probably at the end of the day are going to be unhappy with it.
Meanwhile, NATO Secretary tells ABC he believes that the upcoming talks between Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin will be productive.
Clearly is putting pressure on Putin. Next Friday will be important because it will be about testing Putin, how serious he is on bringing this terrible war to an end.
Rhoda adds the discussions must revolve around territory and security guarantees for Ukraine. The Saskatchewan Trucking Association says a provincial tax on diesel is helping fuel the growing cost of food. This at a time when Canadians can't do much but watch their grocery bills rise. CTV's Alison Bamford now with how these truckers are urging the province for a break.
This load of groceries cost Nancy Cusey more than $200, the biggest bill she's paid in a long time.
Well, it had meat, and I guess that's probably the highest.
The latest report shows food prices in June up 2.8% from the previous year. Those in the business of transporting food want to help drive down costs.
Any tax obviously added on to the shipping costs of moving groceries is going to be applied to the cost to the consumer in the stores.
Saskatchewan's trucking industry is calling on the provincial government to remove a road tax on the diesel fuel that powers refrigerator units used to haul food and critical medications.
It doesn't seem like a lot, 12 cents a litre, but the consumption of diesel fuel for industry is quite large.
Some industries are already exempt from this tax for equipment that does not drive on the highway. If refrigeration units were exempt, the Saskatchewan government estimates the trucking industry would save $1 million a year, saying spread over the entire industry, this would have a minimal effect on food inflation.
You do increase the chances of seeing prices drop, but there is no certainty.
For consumers, every little bit would help.
Almost everything has gone up, but if you can get it on sale, it's a pretty good price.
Experts say meat, dairy, and produce won't experience significant price hikes in the coming months, but tariffs and counter tariffs could increase the cost of dry goods, frozen foods, and baked treats. Allison Bamford, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Here's a look now what's happening along Portage Avenue. Things appear to be starting off really well here for this Monday morning drive. If you see any issues out on the streets, please let us know.
All right, and we're still dealing with that hazy pinkish glow or reddish glow. It's that sun that's looking so red through all of that smoke, which is still very much an issue this morning. 17 degrees with winds out of the south-southwest, 16 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 92%. We remain under the smoke advisory or the statement, and now too so does east central Manitoba. Earlier on this morning it was just this stretched down the middle and then southern Manitoba, but that area where the statement or the advisory has been issued has expanded, and still much of northern Manitoba is under that straight up smoke warning. There's a look at the satellite image at the precipitation that we're seeing. It doesn't read across northern Manitoba, but you'll be seeing some as well. In fact, nearly everybody will be perhaps in the path of showers or thunderstorms today. High teens, low 20s. That's where the temperatures will be topping out, and perhaps a little bit of precipitation will provide some relief to, if not the smoke, to the fire situation that's been causing all of the smoke. And slightly cooler temperatures are expected today as well. I mean, close to seasonal for northern Manitoba, but not the scorching temps that have been really a tough situation to battle those blazes in. Here through the south, it will be a below seasonal day. 25 degrees would be a normal daytime high, and we'll all be just a couple shy of that, topping out at about 23 degrees here in Winnipeg. Not just a little below seasonal, but a little bit breezy. That wind increasing through the afternoon. It'll be a southwest wind throughout the day today, but it certainly will be getting stronger. Now, that chance of showers and thunderstorms continues overnight and through tomorrow as well. Then it's back to the sunshine with one more day, not just with the precipitation, a little spike in the temperatures before we see the mercury settle back for the coming weekend.
Thank you, Terry. Let's check in now on the team at 103.1 Virgin Radio. Good morning. Happy Monday, guys.
Good morning. A very happy Monday to you, Rachel Lagacé.
Thank you.
Epic night this past Friday at the Winnipeg Goldeyes game. Shout out to the Winnipeg Goldeyes for being, as always, so accommodating and making cool things happen. So Christy Troy and our producer Amber, they got to go on the field with Jack and Asher. Asher got to throw the first pitch at the Goldeyes game, which was awesome. And Asher and Jack will be moving into one of the new homes, Habitat for Humanity homes that they're building on Pandora. That whole project is amazing. Hundreds of people going in there. Chrissy Troy helped build one of those houses. Jack is going next week to help finish that house, but huge shout out to the Goldeyes and Habitat for Humanity. And Asher nailed it. The first pitch at a baseball game. The stakes are so high. You are amazing. So that's Goldeyes, Habitat for Humanity. Let's now stay with Habitat for Humanity, switch sports, but then we'll come back to Goldeyes. LTI.
They're doing a bomber build, you guys. So October 1st and October 2nd, you could build a house with the Bombers. You get this really cool limited edition blue t-shirt, but you got to book your spots now. I think there's like 50 spots for both days, and you can go do that at habitat.mb.ca.
Very nice. Now, back to Goldeyes for a second. Friday the 29th, there's a Terry Fox game. So if you have a Terry Fox Run t-shirt, wear your T-shirt, because if we spot you in the crowd, I'm going to the game. It's going to be awesome. We're giving away amazing prizes. But if you don't have the new Terry Fox shirt, the Finish It, you can buy them on at the Gold Eyes game. That's on the 29th. I don't know if I'd recommend a quadruple XL like I'm wearing.
You grow into it.
Because I'll be honest, I'm looking up, like we have a TV above the camera. I look like a refrigerator.
Oh, no, you don't.
Come on.
It's fine.
It looks good.
It looks good indeed. Such an important cause, for sure. Thanks, you guys. Have a
Three
good
of
week.
us can wear this.
Well, these pups might still be waiting for their forever families, but at this Pennsylvania shelter, they're already enjoying the high life in their very own luxury suites. ABC's Danny New has this story.
At Animal Care Sanctuary in rural Pennsylvania.
Oh, you're making the floor all dirty.
More than a dozen dogs just got their own luxury suites.
How common is it for animal shelters to have these sort of tiny villages?
We think we are really the first.
Over the past few weeks, this animal shelter has been getting the attention of millions online for opening what they call Tiny Home Village.
So this is Brooklyn's tiny home number 6.
Executive Director Terry McKendry gave us a little tour of the 16 tiny homes.
As you can see, the tiny home has 2 dog doors.
Each one costs $20,000 to build and has heating, AC, doggy doors, a porch, a front yard, and a little kiddie pool action.
You cannot walk through Tiny Home Village and not be like, this is just the cutest thing ever.
But the shelter did not first embark on this project 2 years ago just to be cute. They came up with this idea to address critical issues facing many shelters, such as preventing the spread of disease, adding capacity to receive more dogs from the south, and helping the adoptees avoid something called kennel stress.
Our tiny homes are a decompression. They're very peaceful, they're quiet. The dogs can decompress there, and they're not picking up these tiny behavior issues, so adoptions are happening more quickly.
So far, Terry says the dogs are adapting to the new digs much quicker than they anticipated.
It's blown our mind a little bit.
And they're not done yet.
Come on, there you go.
The shelter now wants to keep fundraising so they can erect a total of 40 tiny homes.
You can see how relaxed Brooklyn is and really loving her home.
And I think Brooklyn here should be mayor. But also, someone please adopt her. Thank you.
Their website is animalcaresanctuary.org if you wish to donate or adopt. Our girl Brooklyn, for example, has been there since November. Also, they want to set aside 4 tiny homes for veterans to leave their dogs in whenever they are seeking treatment. That's so special. In New York, for ABC News, I'm Danny New.
All right, we're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this with your 7 o'clock headlines. Stay with us. Good morning. It is 7 o'clock on Monday, August 11th. You're watching CTV Morning Live. Thank you so much for being with us. Coming up in the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to hear about the bird block parties. They're happening this weekend. There are shows happening Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We're going to tell you about which show is sold out, what tickets are available, and which performers are coming to our city for a really great night of entertainment. But first, your headlines. Air Canada flight attendants protest as strike deadline nears. Will talks succeed before flights are grounded? Plus, wildfire season is the second worst on record. Calls grow for a national fire agency to boost response. And Wendy's gets dark. Forget the Happy Meal. This one's all misfortune and mystery. Bringing in Terry now. That smoke is still affecting the air quality in this province.
It really is, yes. Far worse across northern Manitoba than here in the south, but we too find ourselves under that statement or advisory, and there you can see why. That heavy haze hanging over the city right now. 17 degrees with south-southwest winds, 16 clicks. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 92%. Visibility is down to only 5 kilometers right now, and so as a result, yes, much of southern Manitoba, central Manitoba as well, included in that air quality statement or advisory, whereas for northern Manitoba, that's just a straight up warning for you. As far as the conditions go today, we might get a little bit of relief. The possibility of showers or thunderstorms rolling through much of the province today. Here you can see the satellite image, what we're currently dealing with. And now I'll show you the future cast of what we can expect things to look like throughout the day today. So northern Manitoba also in the path of some showers or thunderstorms. And yes, here in the south, we'll be seeing that activity rolling over us as well. So pretty much everybody, and then that includes, of course, northwestern Ontario as it continues to push further to the east. And while it might look like it's clearing out, perhaps another round of precipitation again, possibly for tomorrow. The real clearing will likely happen on Wednesday, and the real spike in temperatures is only going to happen for a day. But on Thursday, we could get up to 28 degrees. Aside from that, the start of the week and the end of the week will keep us slightly below seasonal. 25 is normal for this time of year. 5-year-old Logan, thank you for the art today. We always love showcasing art here on CTV Morning Live, so keep it coming. Please draw color paint, send your picture to us to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Terry. Members of Broken Head Ojibwe Nation have voted against a proposed partnership with a silica mining company following a community referendum held last week. According to results shared by the First Nation on Facebook, 310 ballots were cast. A total of 181 members voted no to the proposal, while 129 voted yes. In the social media post, Chief and Council thanked community members for participating and said they respect the outcome. The leadership said the referendum will serve as a foundation for developing clearer, community-driven processes for future engagement. Broken Head Ojibwe Nation is located about 70 kilometers northeast of Winnipeg. A potential trouble in the skies. Air Canada flight attendants in 4 major cities are preparing to protest today, while talks continue to reach an agreement before Friday. The impact of a strike could be major on the thousands who travel with the airline each day. As CTV's Kamil Karamali tells us, without flight attendants, flights can't be cleared for takeoff.
The Bracco family, locked and loaded, ready for their dream vacation in Italy. There's just one thing weighing on them.
I know that there's a potential for the strike, and if we end up having to stay, then we stay.
More than 10,000 Air Canada flight attendants could go on strike as early as Saturday, just past midnight, if a new agreement isn't reached with Air Canada. Flight attendants are also taking part in what they call a mobilization on Monday, simultaneously at airports in Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, and Calgary.
You'll see flight attendants in their uniforms standing in silence in support of their union.
Their union at the bargaining table with Air Canada throughout this week. The previous 10-year contract expired back in March. The union says key sticking points are wages, work rules, and unpaid hours, claiming they're not paid for a lot of the work they do.
Such as our safety regulatory checks, boarding, deplaning. If we have a medical emergency on the ground, we're not compensated for that.
While Air Canada says it remains at the table and is focused on achieving a deal with the union. For passengers, travel experts say it's too soon to cancel travel plans, but a better idea would be to buy a refundable ticket with another airline as a backup plan.
In case the strike does not happen, they will then, of course, be able to get their monies back. And if it does happen, they were smart. They did it.
For 11-year-old Dania Masoudi, it's a little too late leaving for Morocco.
I hope that it's not an issue because I really want to get back like August 20th, August 19th for my birthday.
Hoping for the gift of spending her birthday with her dad, with thousands of other passengers also hoping the two sides land on an agreement. Kamil Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Experts and advocates are warning that current Canadian regulations aren't keeping pace with the rise of AI-generated hate online. They say Canada is lagging behind when it comes to addressing the risk hateful content poses to public safety. 2 bills aimed at addressing harmful online content and establishing a regulatory AI framework died when Parliament was prorogued in January. Justice Minister Sean Fraser told the Canadian press in June that the federal government will take a fresh look at the Online Harms Act, but it hasn't decided whether to rewrite it or simply reintroduce it. Rental prices are coming down in some of Canada's biggest cities.
There are some potential renters that now can qualify to get into the market. So you take that demand away from the market, plus all the purpose-built rentals, plus the fact that the immigration policies have changed, and that puts us in the position we're in today.
In Vancouver, the average rental is now 9% cheaper than this time last year. In Calgary, it's nearly 12% less expensive on average. Toronto is down almost 5%. It's the 10th month in a row average rental prices have dropped in Canada. Meanwhile, housing starts and sales in big cities are sinking. A group of developers responsible for more than half of Canada's yearly housing starts is now calling on Ottawa to change the foreign buyer ban, exempting the purchases of new homes. Israel is defending its plan to take over Gaza City after being heavily criticized at an emergency meeting for the UN Security Council.
These are war crimes. And those who drew their maps in blood must not walk in the shadow of impunity.
Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says the best way to end the war in Gaza is to take control of Gaza City. He also pushed back against accusations Israel is starving people in Gaza. While facing criticism from a number of ambassadors Sunday, the U.S. defended Israel, saying the U.S. has been working tirelessly to free hostages and end the war. Thousands of protesters have taken to the streets across Israel to oppose the plan over fears it could endanger the lives of the remaining hostages in Gaza. And a funeral was held this morning for a prominent Al Jazeera journalist who was killed along with 4 colleagues in an Israeli airstrike. Anas al-Sharif was one of the network's most recognizable faces in Gaza. He was killed by an airstrike in Gaza City Sunday night. 7 people were killed in the strike. We can never say no to a market full of locals. The locals hosted their flagship event, the Summer of Locals, over the weekend. Over 70 businesses showed up on Sunday, and organizers say they are expecting more than 100 for their next event. Food trucks, local makers and vendors, free kids activities, everything you could expect from summer markets were there. Organizers say the goal is to celebrate the hardworking local entrepreneurs.
So just giving an outlet for different people with different ideas. Maybe you're a maker, maybe you're an artist, maybe you just have a good eye for certain products that people love. So we celebrate that.
This was their second last scheduled event of the summer market. The final summer market is set for the end of August in the parking lot of Outlet Collection, Winnipeg. There's nothing happy about this meal.
It's me, Wednesday Addams. I regret to inform you that I have devised the meal of misfortune with Wendy's.
The fast food franchise Wendy's collaborated with this latest season of Wednesday. In honor of season 2, fans can now grab a meal of misfortune. The meal includes 10 chicken nuggets, fries, and a Raven's Blood Frosty. There's also mysterious sauces to dip your nuggets. It officially launches today in Canada, but some locations have already been serving it this past weekend. That's fun. Here's a look now what's happening on Kenaston Boulevard. It looks like things are moving well here. That smoke and haze still affecting things, as you can see on this camera here. If you see any problems out on the streets, please let us know. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live telling us all about Folklorama's French-Canadian Pavilion. Good morning.
Rochelle, good morning. I asked the most important question as soon as I got here. What's on the menu? There's going to be bannock, of course. There's going to be what they called sucre à la crème. But the cool thing is that there's a little bit of a twist to it. They're adding maple, so a maple fudge, all the good stuff. This pavilion's been around since 1989. They've got interpreters on site too, so they're going to answer any questions you may have. Coming up, we're going to be seeing a live performance. We're going to have a look at the cultural display, flags representing every single province and territory and the French people that reside. Lots of weaving that you can purchase here as well. Bags and I love this guy. He's doing a jig. Oh, well, maybe he's not, but
Le Petit Bonhomme Gigueux. Yes, he's famous at Festival as well. Thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. My mom also makes the best stick at Canam. It's like the best dessert ever.
All right. I'd like to have you share some of that with us.
Maybe.
Tell her to make some and bring it in. They'll just tease us about it.
I know, sorry. How's it feeling out there?
There's a little bit of a mugginess to the air right now and a slight bit of a breeze as well. I'll show this to you, though. So you remember Friday morning, that rain started and we had some pretty spectacular storms. So this has been accumulating since then. Now, over the course of the show on Friday, we had gotten to about 5 millimeters maybe or so. Now, so this fell over the weekend. Anyway, almost 20 millimeters of rain, and we're expecting a little more again today. So it seemed like it took forever to get any kind of amount of precipitation here throughout the province. And now all of a sudden we are starting to see a little bit more of that happening, because once again today, maybe even tomorrow, we could be seeing showers and thunderstorms. We're not seeing that yet, just the sunshine and the smoke. So again, we'll welcome more of that rain until we get that situation under control. 17 degrees with a 13K wind out of the south-southwest, the pressure falling, the humidity sitting at 92%. And the showers and thunderstorms, they could be making an appearance pretty much everywhere through the province at times today. It's not going to be a massive deluge in any one place, but off and on that precipitation is expected to make itself known overnight, and still for tomorrow that possibility is there. We're dealing with the smoke, heavier of course through northern Manitoba, but still the advisory or the statement has been issued here through the south as well. We will notice that wind increasing today. It'll be out of the southwest, but then it's shifting out of the north for tomorrow, and that north wind could just bring more of that smoke in. Our sunniest day will be on Wednesday on the other side of this chance of precipitation.
CTV Morning Live weather brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
It's time now to check in on our question of the day. We want to know if you could invite any local band or artist to perform at the Burt Block Party, who would it be? Our question of the day has moved from Twitter, so now we want you to text your answer along with your name to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we can feature your response. At CTV Morning Live, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, whether they're furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions are amazing. We want to see more, whether it's dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals. Send them our way. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to petoftheweek@ctv.ca, and then catch us every Thursday between 6 to 9 to find out if your pet is our Pet of the Week on CTV Morning Live. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this. Good morning, it is 7:16. One group of evacuees recently forced from their community is taking steps to improve living conditions. They're leaving Winnipeg. People from Nisitchawayasik Cree Nation, located at Nelson House, have been staying in the Winnipeg Convention Centre, but not for much longer. A post on the community's social media page says the chief and council have heard the community's concerns about the accommodations in Winnipeg. So arrangements have been made for NCN evacuees to relocate to Niagara Falls, Ontario. The plan is to travel to Hamilton first, and then they will be taken to Niagara Falls, where up to 1,000 people will be put up in hotels. This year's wildfire season is the second worst on record, prompting renewed calls for a National Fire Administration and agency.
There's just too many fires. There's not enough resources. We call on help from around the world and from the Canadian Armed Forces. But we should be able to handle this on our own.
With fires burning coast to coast, calls like this are growing. The Canadian Interagency Forest Fire Centre is currently playing a critical role in coordinating resources between provinces, but many say there needs to be more resources to deploy during a surge. The federal government says work is underway to improve Canada's wildfire response capacity, including better coordination across jurisdictions. The Winnipeg Tattoo Convention marked its 7th anniversary at Red River Exhibition Park over the weekend. 270 tattoo artists around the world gathered in Winnipeg to ink Manitobans. Artists came from regions including Brazil, South Korea, Vancouver Island, Newfoundland, New York, and California. Attendees could take a photo of an art piece they liked, bring it to an artist, and get it tattooed on site. One of the organizers said artists often serve as navigators for their clients.
Part of our job is to give guidance and let people rely on our years of experience. So as people that have made mistakes, collected many tattoos, we often have insight as to what will work, what will not, what could lead to regret and what will lead to being a satisfied customer.
The event also featured a vendor market, beer garden, and live entertainment. Along with new tattoos, attendees could also get existing ones removed or reworked. Here's a look now at what's happening in traffic along the St. James Bridge. Things have picked up over here, as you can see, but overall moving quite well. No issues to tell you about at this point. If you see problems out there, though, please let us know. Now for some entertainment news. At the box office this weekend, mystery horror thriller Weapons debuted at #1 across North America.
I don't understand at all. Why just her classroom? Why only hers?
Weapons brought in $42.5 million US. That was more than enough to best Freakier Friday. The body swap comedy sequel had about $29 million in ticket sales. And after 2 weeks on top, the Fantastic Four First Steps fell to third with $15.5 million. Hannah Montana fans got excited about some potential news last week, but is it the real deal? Fans were teased with this cryptic message on X, hinting at a potential 20th anniversary celebration of Miley Cyrus's former alter ego. While Miley has gone on record to say she wants to do something special for the Hannah-versary, but the clip was made by an unofficial fan account. The post has 31 million views, and even Miley's mom has given it a like. Fans will just have to wait and see. Ed Sheeran is giving us a little more with his newest music video.
I used to love you, now every day I hate you just a little more.
That's Harry Potter's Rupert Grint on screen. He joined Ed in his 2011 music video for the song Lego House. In that video, Grint played a fan with an unhealthy obsession with Sheeran. And now we see where the character is at now. The song is the follow-up single to Sheeran's song Sapphire, leading up to his next album. Your primetime lineup kicks off at 7 with American Ninja Warrior, followed by Match Game, and E-Talk wraps up the night at 10:30. It's all right here on CTV. All right, the weather today, a little bit muggy, but at least there's a slight breeze.
There will be even more of a breeze, in fact. Into the afternoon, those winds will be increasing. Now, we're also, along with the humidity, dealing with the smoke. Here's a look right now through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. I feel like the Matrix is glitching right now. Anyway, yes, you can see we've got the heavy smoke hanging around down to about 3 kilometers visibility. So that's actually worsened over the course of the hour. When we started the show, we were at 5 kilometers. So that has gone down a little bit. Temperatures, they haven't really moved much. 17 degrees, though, is above seasonal, with 12 being a normal low. So many of us are either in those mid or high teens. That's right across all of southern Manitoba. So slightly above seasonal to kick off your morning, and even northern Manitoba, a fairly mild start overall. Single digits at the moment in Churchill, 9 degrees for you, but you too will make some gains. Now, no matter where you are today, nearly everybody has the chance of getting clipped with some showers or some thunderstorms, which might be good news. I mean, maybe not thunderstorms. We don't need lightning striking dry areas, but you can see we're still dealing with this heavy smoke right across the province. Worse in the north, slightly downgraded here in the south and central Manitoba, but the fact is it is still lingering. So there's the precipitation that we can see so far on the satellite image. It doesn't read across northern Manitoba on our satellite map, but it will likely be falling there as well throughout the day today. As the temperatures rise, we're going to be getting up into those low 20s. Our midday temperatures, high teens, low 20s. We won't add much to that into the afternoon, topping out at about 23 here in Winnipeg, when 25 is in fact normal for this time of year. So slightly below seasonal for the next few days. Possible scattered precipitation for the next couple of days. A little spike with the temperature. That'll be one day this week on Thursday, and then you can see those temperatures moderate on the other side of that. Beautiful shot of the sun setting behind the sunflowers. Absolutely stunning, and thank you, Gia, for this one. Keep the pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
Thank you, Terry. A new survey by Nanos Research finds the majority of Canadians are in support of national infrastructure projects, even if Indigenous groups oppose them. CTV's Abigail Beeman breaks down the numbers.
You're more than an obligation to be satisfied, then swept aside.
You want to work together? Then let's really work together.
The First Nations Major Projects Coalition wants to bust the myth that Indigenous people oppose development.
There has to be a shift in seeing Indigenous people not as a risk, but as an opportunity to de-risk projects, to ensure that investors will invest in Canada and those projects, and that we can get to market on time.
New research from Nanos for CTV shows 70% of Canadians support or somewhat support national infrastructure projects, even if Indigenous nations are opposed. And more than half of Canadians, 59%, oppose or somewhat oppose Indigenous nations having the power to block infrastructure projects.
I think what it shows is that there's a lack of understanding writ large across the country of the role Indigenous people play in the national economy.
I think this speaks to a situation where there is political license, but that doesn't mean it's the best path forward.
It's a similar story for provincial pushback. 77% of Canadians support or somewhat support national infrastructure projects despite provincial opposition.
If the federal government were to try and move on developing infrastructure projects and steamroll the interests of provinces and Indigenous groups, then we're going to get tangled up in lawsuits every which way.
And as Manitoba eyes potential oil shipment through Hudson Bay, 60% of Canadians support or somewhat support developing Arctic land as an oil and gas route, even if there are environmental concerns.
There's a whole new appetite to move forward that never really existed to this level because of Donald Trump.
Numbers that support this promise from the Prime Minister.
Build, baby, build.
Who has made listening summits with Indigenous groups a priority this summer.
The Conservatives promising a motion this fall calling for shovels in the ground on major projects by March, the one-year anniversary of Mark Carney taking office. While Carney has said his Major Projects Office and Indigenous Advisory Council will be up and running by Labor Day. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
It's that time of year again, and CTV and Chicken Chef want to know how you're soaking up the season, from concerts to weekend getaways. Whatever's making your summer magical, we want to see it. Here are some amazing moments from this year so far, and we can't wait to see more. Upload a photo of your summer fun for a chance to win the $5,000 grand prize, plus daily draws for $50 Chicken Chef gift certificates. So what are you waiting for? Grab your phone, snap that sunshine, and share your summer with us. Coming up, we're going to learn all about Folklorama's French-Canadian Pavilion and the tasty food on the menu. Stay with us. We are live at the French-Canadian Pavilion this morning with our Ainsley McPhail. We're going to talk about something we all love to talk about, food and the menu being served there. Good morning.
Well, Rochelle, French cooking.
Oh, yeah.
Butter, sugar. I don't need to say anything else.
That sums it up.
It's going to be awesome. No doubt. Genevieve Couture joins us now to tell us all about what people can expect. And it's about simple ingredients, too. And Bannock does just that.
Yeah, exactly. So Bannock is a pretty simple recipe. It's made typically with 3 types of ingredients. So we have flour, we have water, and lard. It's something that's ingredients that are available, and it's easy to make, and it tastes great with just about anything.
And people can know that when they come, they're tasting a little bit of history as well.
Yes, exactly. So Bannock dates back from, you have like Scottish influences in there. You also have the fur trade that's in there. And then with European ingredients that were brought over, the recipe kind of became what it is today. And yeah, it's enjoyed by many.
Mm-hmm. I'm really buffing up, and when I say grade 8 French, but sucre à la crème, and I'm hoping I'm saying this correctly, the fudge. What you've added, though, is special ingredient.
Yes, so we do love our maple. So this sucre à la crème is typically made with sugar, you have cream, butter, and of course the maple.
Mm-hmm. And that's an ingredient that you've really brought throughout the pavilion with other items.
Yes, so we have this in some of our other desserts. So for example, the maple tart, which is one of my favorite desserts on the menu. And we also have them included in some of our drinks.
What else is on the menu?
We also have tourtière, which is a type of meat pie. We also have meatballs, and one of my favorite is called Le Spécial Canadien, so the Canadian special, where you get a piece of bannock, you get some coleslaw, you get tourtière or meatballs, some vegetables, potatoes, and a little maple tart.
See, she had to add the maple tart at the end, Rochelle. That's awesome. Okay, I'm either going to bring some back to the station for you, or I'm going to get your family to make me some, and you bring it for me. We'll do a swap.
We might have to trade recipes, indeed. Okay, thank you, Ainsley. And yeah,
I was pretty sure that was going to go. I'm either going to bring some back to you or I'm going to eat it all on the way.
Yeah, you're getting nothing. But Kenny's off this week, so maybe we might get something.
Perhaps.
Yeah, lots of color behind you there.
That's right. So it's once again all to do with the smoke, which you can see as we look outside. Heavy haze hanging over the city, 17 degrees right now in Winnipeg. We've got a bit of a breeze. It's 13 clicks out of the south-southwest. The pressure is falling. The humidity sitting at 92%. Visibility down to 3 kilometers right now. I'm surprised actually that this is still just the statement or advisory as opposed to the straight-up warning, but that's what it is. And the straight-up warning is through northern Manitoba, all having to do with the smoke, which maybe we'll get some relief from as far as precipitation rolling through. You can see here on the satellite image, the chance of some showers is certainly there. We're seeing it already in areas off to the west of us, and while it doesn't read across parts of northern Manitoba, they too will likely see some showers or possible thunderstorms today. Slightly below seasonal temperatures, but only by a couple degrees, topping out at about 23 when 25 is normal for this time of year. The winds will be increasing. They'll be out of the southwest today at times. Could be gusting to about 40 kilometers per hour. Then those winds tapering somewhat overnight, but the chance of showers and thunderstorms continues. 15 degrees as our low temperature, still slightly above seasonal. 12 would be a normal low, and I mentioned 25 a normal daytime high. Well, tomorrow could be even cooler than today, but still that chance of showers or thunderstorms continues. We will, however, get those winds shifting out of the northwest. Still a little bit breezy through tomorrow. A sunnier day on Wednesday, a hotter day on Thursday, another chance of precipitation, and then those temperatures settle down for the weekend.
Thanks, Terry. A man has been arrested following a reported sexual assault near the Health Sciences Center in Winnipeg, a little over a month after 4 women were sexually assaulted near the location. In an email communication with CTV News, police said officers responded to the north side of William Avenue across from the hospital's adult emergency department shortly after 11 p.m. on Thursday. Police said a woman was found by hospital security and brought inside for care. A short time later, officers located and arrested a 39-year-old man in connection with the incident. He was released on an undertaking. Winnipeg police say a woman was arrested early Saturday morning after crashing into a stopped vehicle while allegedly impaired, leading to the seizure of a shotgun and cocaine. The collision happened just after midnight on Maryland Street near Portage Avenue. Police say a car driving south struck another vehicle that was waiting at a red light. Both vehicles were heavily damaged, but no injuries were reported. Officers observed the driver, 27-year-old woman, showing hints of intoxication. A vehicle search led to an unloaded 12-gauge shotgun, and officers also found 20 grams of cocaine on the woman. The drugs are estimated to be worth about $1,600. The 27-year-old woman faces several charges, including impaired driving, possession of a firearm without authorization, and possession of cocaine for the purpose of trafficking. She was released with a court date. Winnipeg police say they've made an arrest following a June robbery in which an electric scooter was taken. Police say a teenager who was looking to sell his electric scooter was robbed at gunpoint. At about 3:30 in the afternoon on June 10th, a 16-year-old boy met with a man behind a home in the 300 block of Springfield Road to sell the scooter. Police say while inspecting the scooter, the would-be buyer wielded a gun and eventually fled with the scooter. Investigators of the Major Crimes Unit took over the investigation and later identified a suspect. Last Friday, officers arrested an 18-year-old man at a home on Manitoba Avenue. He has been charged with armed robbery, using a firearm, and detained in custody. An Ontario mall owner is challenging a BC billionaire's plans to take over 25 former Hudson's Bay leases across the country. In new filings with the Ontario Superior Court, Cadillac Fairview says Ruby Liu's plan, quote, defies commercial common sense. The landlord alleges she has no brand, experienced staff, or track record in retail and is strongly opposed to her becoming a tenant at some of its malls. Liu owns 3 BC shopping malls. She says she wants to buy about 24 Bay stores and turn them into her own department store. She claims they would be ready to open within 180 days of obtaining the leases. A man is in critical condition after a house explosion in Barrie, Ontario. A neighbor's security camera captured the exact moment of the blaze. It happened Saturday afternoon. The home is on Marshall Street. It's destroyed. Investigators are still trying to figure out what caused the explosion. Yesterday, they were still sifting through the debris. Nearby homes were also damaged, but have been deemed safe. 4 cyclists crossed Manitoba on Saturday, quite literally. The 4 set off from the Manitoba-Saskatchewan border at 12:01 a.m. Saturday. Their goal was reaching the Manitoba-Ontario border in 24 hours. One of the cyclists, Charlie, was the one who came up with the challenge to mark his sobriety anniversary.
It was a challenge I came up with for my 24th year anniversary of sobriety coming up tomorrow. So tomorrow will be my 24th year, and so we decided to do this challenge, and then we're dedicating it to the Bruce Oak Foundation for treatment. Yeah.
The group took on the journey to promote an alcohol-free lifestyle. Some have been sober for decades after years of struggle, according to email communication with CTV News. At 11:32 p.m. Saturday, they reached the Ontario border after cycling 482 kilometers. Here's a look now what's happening in traffic along St. Mary's Road. Things have really picked up over here, as you can see. Slow moving in some parts. Not sure why or what's going on there. If you know why, let us know, please. Here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36, while the provincial average is lower at $1.33. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.24. The lowest price in the city is $1.27. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
Price of the Pump brought to you by KidneyCard.ca. Get a free tow and attach your seat for value of your car.
Here's a look now what's happening outside. It is 17 degrees. It's smoky. It's hazy. More CTV Morning Live is on the way.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
All right, the smoke is certainly an issue this morning. 17 degrees right now with winds out of the south-southwest, just 13 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling. The humidity is sitting at 92%. That smoke is an issue around the province, even worse across northern Manitoba. And it's hard to think it's going to get much worse. We're already down to 3 kilometers visibility here in Winnipeg. But to think that it is certainly worse across northern Manitoba says something. Now, precipitation, nearly everybody will get clipped with this today, and we will welcome it again. Round of showers, maybe some thunderstorms, and that includes parts of northern Manitoba with some high teens or low 20 temperatures to go along with it. So at least we're not dealing with scorching temperatures. So the fact that the temps themselves will be slightly cooler and that possibility of showers, all of that will aid in that battle against the blazes that we've got going on across northern Manitoba. And as a result, all of this heavy smoke that we've been dealing with really for most of this season now. Central and southern Manitoba, low 20s expected as well. We've already seen on the satellite image where the precipitation is falling right now, and we too can expect to see some of that for later on today. 23 the average temperature here through southwestern Manitoba. No, this is the southeast that I'm showing you right now. 23 the average temperature through southeastern Manitoba, and maybe even a little bit warmer, just a couple degrees milder in areas off to the east of us. We'll only have about one day this week where those temperatures really rise, and that'll be on Thursday. So a bit cooler than seasonal, 25 degrees being normal for the first half of the week with a couple days of possible showers. And then it settles down after that hot day Thursday, and we're looking at a more moderate weekend.
Thanks, Terry. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at CTV this morning for the French-Canadian Pavilion. We heard about food. Now we're going to hear about dance. Good morning.
Rochelle, when I first got here, what do we want to see? What do people come here for? She says the live performances. This is what's bringing people in since 1989. Julianne joins us to tell us all about it. And we've got Gabrielle and Gabrielle who are going to show us a special dance. So what are we going to see today?
So essentially, you're going to see a lot of French-Canadian dancing. This is the main performance of the shows that we have at the Pavilion. It's going to be a lot of jigging, but also a lot of square dancing. So the square dancing, it was brought in from French Canadians who were working in the factories in the U.S. They brought it from the square dancing from the U.S. and the jigging itself, well, that is more of from the Irish route. So the Irish settlers came, they brought jigging with them, and essentially we took a few elements and we have pretty much our own little thing. But it's it's pretty similar to.
And it's the music that gets your foot tapping. You're going to hear a fiddle. What else are we going to see on stage?
Yeah, so you have a fiddle that plays. Well, actually, we have a couple of fiddlers who will be playing all of our shows. We have a piano as well, guitar. We have a bit of percussion. You can also play the spoons if you really wanted to. And yeah, just a bunch of live music. And so it's really fun.
I'm glad you mentioned the spoons, because coming up at 8:38, we're going to do something with them, and I forgot to tell our audience earlier. When it comes to the variety in the lineup, you know what? We only have a minute left. What are we going to see right now?
So this is called La Gigue de Lille.
Okay.
It's actually a dance from Prince Edward Island.
Okay, guys, take it away.
Thank you to everyone there. A man says his Air Miles account was drained of nearly 25,000 points, worth thousands of dollars. He says he was never warned that his account had become inactive. CTV's Mark Villani reports.
Woodbeck has been collecting Air Miles for over 30 years, but says his longtime loyalty was erased in a flash.
I was very angry. Very angry. I mean, I picked up the phone immediately and called Air Miles.
Woodbeck says he hadn't used his Air Miles card in some time until earlier this year when he swiped it at a Shell gas station. He got 2 miles for that purchase, but when he logged into his account, nearly 25,000 points were gone. The equivalent of about $8,000 vanished because of more than 2 years of inactivity. Woodbeck had also spent over $1,500 buying extra miles for travel, now all lost.
I mean, come on, a loyal customer for 35 plus years.
Air Miles confirms the points were not expired, but retired due to inactivity. To maintain an active account, collectors must earn, redeem, or transfer miles within 24 months. If no activity occurs, the account will be considered inactive. As part of our commitment to transparency, collectors are proactively notified before any changes to their account status.
They have my address, they have my phone number. I never got anything in the mail. I never got a call.
Loyalty rewards experts say cases like Woodbeck's aren't uncommon, but they serve as a wake-up call for all collectors to stay engaged with their accounts.
I tell a lot of people to treat their loyalty program accounts kind of like their bank accounts. That you should be checking them, relatively frequently. And it's not just for the expiry, it's even for fraud.
The warning comes as other programs also make big changes. Starting January 1st, 2026, Aeroplan will base points on dollars spent rather than distance flown.
People have to learn about the changes to see how it affects them as far as their spending habits.
But Woodbeck hopes his spending didn't go to waste, encouraging others to stay vigilant and calling on Air Miles to reimburse him.
Do the right thing.
Mark Villani, CTV News, Calgary.
Hello, Nikki Reyes inside the TSN Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Sunday forward. We go to Texas. Phillies taking on the Rangers. Nick Castellanos lifts the ball to shallow right. Adolis Garcia on the run. Can't make the catch with his glove, but then grabs it with his bare hand. Incredible reactions to catch the ball before it hits the turf. What an amazing play by the Rangers right fielder to reach out with a quick reflex. That is your must-see moment from Sunday. And today on TSN, the Cincinnati Open continues with third-round action. Felix Auger-Aliassime in action. Coverage begins at 10 a.m. Central. That's it from the Sports Center newsroom. Have a great day.
TSN Must-See Moments brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, your Hunter Douglas shade provider for over 40 years. CTV Morning Live Weather brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
All right.
right, before we get too much into today, let's talk about the weekend. So on Friday, that rain started to come down. There's a look at my rain gauge. Where's the numbers on it? Almost 20 millimeters. So Friday morning, we had a few millimeters of accumulation happen pretty quickly over the course of the show. And then, of course, that continued on Friday. We got hit with the rain. And then we even saw a little more of it throughout Saturday, even Sunday. There was a bit more of that precipitation. So now we're looking at almost 20 millimeters accumulative over the weekend, and another round of precipitation is possible today. We are, however, kicking off our morning with dry conditions and some heavy smoke lingering. Although I'm noticing it doesn't smell too bad. There's certainly a hazy look to it all. 17 is slightly above seasonal. 12 would be a normal low. So it's fairly mild this morning, but our temperatures will be topping out slightly below seasonal. Around 23 degrees is where we'll end up today, with a chance of showers or thunderstorms, not just here in Winnipeg, but across the entire province.
Thanks, Terry. Week 2 of Folklorama kicked off Sunday, and the celebrations are in full swing. Welcome to the Romanian Pavilion. This is Mocanitsia dance team doing a dress rehearsal before their first performance. Also taking the stage is the Balada dance group, which includes both kids and adults. It's the first time in several years the Pavilion has featured a children's group. The Pavilion's social media chair says she's excited, but keeping one performance under wraps.
Really excited to see the little kids on stage. I saw them practicing yesterday, and they're just very excited. There's one dance I really hope everyone gets to see. I'm not going to spoil it, but they may have some props on stage, which will be fun to see.
Along with their performances, organizers are also recommending some must-try food. Volunteers' favorite is vampire ears, deep-fried dough sprinkled with a secret garlic salt. The Romanian Pavilion runs through Saturday at Bronx Park Community Center. His name is Hank the Hunk, and he's a barnyard bachelor looking for love. The 7-year-old miniature donkey is looking for love, and like many humans, but few donkeys, he's taken that search online. CTV's Alexandra Hollick has more.
Oh, princess!
This Prince Charming is Hank, a 7-year-old miniature donkey looking to meet the love of his life.
We're hoping that Hank can find a Jenny, a miniature Jenny similar to him in size.
The young Jack joined a farm in Erin back in June.
Hank has been a vision of mine for some time. We got our cows first, and I feel like we've always needed a donkey.
He quickly made himself at home, but now the eligible bachelor is on the market.
Hank likes long walks around the farm, through the lavender fields. Yeah, he's just looking for a companion to live out his days with here at Erin Hill Acres.
While Hank here may be single and ready to mingle, his matchmakers here at Erin Hill Acres say there are a few boxes the female donkey, or Jenny, must check first.
We're looking for a Jenny that is maybe anywhere between the ages of 4 to 8, 4 to 9 years old, potentially.
Princess, where are you?
The farm taking Hank's hunt to social media.
We thought that we were just putting together a funny little video to reach out to our followers and try to find Hank a wife and a love interest.
Something the Donkey Sanctuary of Canada says is possible.
Donkeys do have the ability to bond incredibly deeply with each other.
But sometimes donkeys can be a little stubborn.
A new animal stepping into their territory, sometimes they're a little apprehensive about it. Starting to share resources together, that's a sign of being comfortable and accepting of them.
The farm is accepting applications for Hank's perfect match through Instagram, Facebook, or email.
I guess in the caption or the subject line say, "Attention Hank's wife." I think that would be, or future wife, so that would work out, I think.
All in the hopes that there will soon be some new additions to the pasture. Alexandra Hollick, CTV News, Erin.
We are continuing our journey through the French-Canadian Pavilion for Folklorama. We're going to hear all about this exhibition. Stay with us. Get ready for the ultimate hoops showdown at Canada Life Centre. We're giving you the chance to score 4 tickets to the CEBL Championship Weekend featuring the Winnipeg Sea Bears. Catch all the action starting August 22nd with an epic conference finals doubleheader at 7:30 p.m. plus the nail-biting championship final on Sunday, August 24th at 6 p.m. Head over to our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and hit our contest page for all the entry details. Don't miss your shot. Well, it's time for Let's Celebrate. Let's see who's having a celebration today. Happy 13th birthday, Landon. Love Mom, Dad, and Naomi. Happiest birthday to George, with love from your mom. And a happy birthday, Champagne birthday, Brinley, with love from all your family and friends. If someone you care about is having a birthday, anniversary, retirement, or graduation, let's celebrate. To submit your celebration, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate to Party Stuff.
Let's Celebrate, brought to you by Party Stuff, 3 Winnipeg locations and at partystuff.ca.
Good morning. It's 8 o'clock on Monday. Thank you so much for staying with us here on CTV Morning Live. We have a lot in the next hour to cover, including an update on the Burt Block parties, which of course are happening this weekend. We're also going to hear about the World Archery Youth Championships, which are happening for the first time here in Winnipeg. There's 571 athletes from around the world competing. And then also at 8:45, the Winnipeg Animal Services are bursting at the seams. We're going to have a dog join us in studio, and we're going to tell you how you could adopt one. But first, your headlines. Gray list designation, why nurses at one major Winnipeg health facility says workplace safety needs a boost. Plans up in the air. A possible Air Canada work stoppage has travelers scrambling for alternate carriers. And gotta catch them all has a much different meaning for collectors of these public transit trading cards. Bringing in Terry now. Wasn't a bad start to the day, but that smoke is still hanging on in the air.
That's the biggest nuisance that we're dealing with right now, is that smoke through most of northern Manitoba. It is far worse than here in the south. And here in the south, you can see outside just how bad it is, with visibility down to just 3 kilometers, according to the reporting station out at James Richardson International Airport. 17 degrees right now with winds out of the south-southwest, 13 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling, humidity sitting at 92%. The smoke, like I said, far worse across northern Manitoba. There you can see the whole top half of the map showing up purple with the straight-up smoke warning, or the slightly downgraded statement or advisory issued through central and southern Manitoba. Precipitation may help. We'll keep our fingers crossed that it does. There you can see the rain moving through parts of southwestern Manitoba, making its way over into the southeast. And while it doesn't read across northern Manitoba, the futurecast will indicate that you too can expect some precipitation, showers, maybe some thunderstorms, and that pretty much goes for everybody today, off and on throughout the day. But then even into the overnight hours, that chance of precipitation is still there, and lingering into tomorrow, still a little more rain could fall. Now, the temperatures themselves will be slightly below seasonal over the next few days, in fact, with 25 being normal for this time of year. We'll be just shy of that, with that bit of precipitation off and on over the next couple of days. Temperatures do look like they'll spike for a day on Thursday, slightly above seasonal, with a chance of showers or thunderstorms, and then they settle down a bit as we look toward the end of the week and weekend. 5-year-old Logan colored our beautiful picture today. Logan, thank you so much for sharing this with us, and we'd love to see your art. So draw, color, or paint, and send that picture to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thank you, Terry. An update now to a story we first told you about last week. The Manitoba Nurses Union says its members have voted in favor of gray listing the Health Sciences Centre. The MNU says members voted 94% in favor of applying the designation to Winnipeg's biggest hospital. The move is largely symbolic and essentially means nurses have declared HSC is an unsafe working environment. The vote comes after a series of sexual assaults in July, targeting HSC staff and members of the public. In a release late Friday afternoon, the MNU says the designation will stay in place until Shared Health and the HSC follow through on a list of recommendations. Shared Health's interim president says it takes the vote seriously. They say Shared Health is working with stakeholders to increase security at HSC, including improvements to parkade security, reducing the number of public entrances, and adding 100 new security cameras. It adds Shared Health continues to explore other security measures. The City of Winnipeg has a warning about its scam. It involves text messages saying you have an unpaid parking ticket. The messages look something like this. The text messages impersonate the Winnipeg Parking Authority and ask you to pay your outstanding fines by opening a link. Here's what to watch out for. The messages are sent from a phone number with a country code 63. That's a country code for the Philippines. The city says the Winnipeg Parking Authority doesn't send out text messages, but its collections agency does. These legitimate texts always direct the recipient to call WPG 311 to validate. If you get a text about unpaid parking tickets and you're unsure about it, call 311. Air Canada flight attendants are taking part in what they're calling a mobilization at 4 major airports today ahead of a possible strike.
The flight attendants in their uniforms standing in silence in support of their union.
This will be happening at airports in Montreal, Toronto, Vancouver, and Calgary. More than 10,000 Air Canada flight attendants could go on strike as early as Saturday if a new agreement isn't reached. The union says the two sides are still unable to find common ground on wages and unpaid hours. A representative says today's demonstrations will not impact any flights or Air Canada operations. A new poll suggests the popularity of Prime Minister Mark Carney and his government is cooling off this summer. The poll from Abacus Data finds the Liberal government's approval has dipped to 50%. That's down 2 percentage points compared to mid-July and is the lowest level since March. This poll was taken in the week after U.S. President Donald Trump imposed new 35% tariffs on Canada. Carney himself holds a positive net approval rating. Transit trading cards are getting people excited in Vancouver.
Most of us are like Pokemon fans or transit fans here in Vancouver, and so having something like this would definitely be an addition to our collection.
Hundreds of people lined up for hours to get their hands on the newest collectibles from the city's transportation agency. This is TransLink's first ever series of trading cards featuring buses, SkyTrains, and C-buses. There are 5 cards in the set, with the rarest card being the Mark I SkyTrain. A total of 800 blind packs were given out. Here's a look at what's happening outside in traffic along Portage Polo Park. Things are moving well here, no issues to tell you about. If you see problems out there, though, please let us know.
CTV Morning Live Traffic brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
We're going to get a tour now of the exhibition at the French-Canadian Pavilion. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. Good morning, Manitoba. Genevieve and Julien join us. Have you ever wondered what the Franco-Manitoban flag looks like? I'm sure many of you know, but we're going to get a history lesson coming up in a moment's time. Julienne's going to fill us in, telling us about some of the interpreters here, what they can learn, and the big historical connection to the fur trade.
Yeah, so essentially here we have an exposition by the Compagnie de la Vérandrie. So there are a bunch of historical interpreters who dress up as French soldiers, and they talk about the La Vérandrie expeditions when they explored Western Canada, setting up forts and making trade alliances with the First Nations of the area. And as you can see, we have a bunch of furs here. This is the furs that the First Nations would give to the Europeans or the French in that instance, and then in exchange they would be receiving a lot of metal goods, and that's just what the fur trade was all about. And we would bring these furs back to Europe, and that would be funding the expeditions of La Vérendrye. And it's because of him that we have a French presence in Manitoba and along Western Canada.
A thriving French province at that. Let's talk too about the fact that the interpreters will be here and you can ask them questions.
That's right. So the interpreters will be here every night, and they will be here asking or answering any questions that the visitors may have about multiple things, like the fur trade, the fort construction, how they construct the forts and all that. So.
Sorry, I want to have more time to talk about the flags as well. Okay, let's move it along. With the flags, they're representing every province and territory and the French culture within them. Which one is, well, and I know the answer, but for our audience, is the Manitoba?
So the Franco-Manitoban flag is just right over here. It's this one right here. And what's super interesting with all of these flags is that each flag represents a different French community within every province or territory. And each flag really has their own history, and the different colors, the different images all represent different things. So for example, in our flag, the Franco-Manitoban one, the red would represent the Red River, the yellow, for example, the prairies. And then there's like the two, or I guess the four stems, which really just demonstrates how the French Manitoban community is really established here, and also it kind of creates like a type of F, like F for Francophone.
Perfect. Okay, we'll see you at 8:38.
Sounds good. Thank you, Ainsley. Rental prices are coming down again in Canada's biggest cities. Prices are as low as they've been in years, even as so many renters say the cost of living in Toronto and Vancouver is still out of reach. CTV's Colton Prale reports.
This is North Vancouver, Canada's most expensive rental market that's now getting a little cheaper.
It's beautiful. It's very livable. It's something that we are super interested in.
Here and in major cities across the country, prices are coming down. In Vancouver, the average rental is now 9% cheaper than this time last year. In Calgary, it's nearly 12%, while Toronto is down almost 5%. But ask renters, and they say it doesn't feel like much of a drop.
It was quite the eye-opener and somewhat disappointing at times.
It's the 10th month in a row average rental prices have dropped in Canada. In Toronto, Vancouver, and Montreal, that trend goes back at least 2 years.
As the interest rates have dropped now, there are some potential renters that now can qualify to get into the market. So you take that demand away from the market, plus all the purpose-built rentals, plus the fact that the immigration policies have changed, and that puts us in the position we're in today.
Meanwhile, housing starts and sales in the country's biggest cities have cratered. This week, a group of developers responsible for over half of Canada's yearly housing starts called on Ottawa to change the foreign home buyer ban, exempting the purchase of new homes, and to extend the GST rebate on new home sales for 3 years.
Please do something. Do something so that you can actually make this industry survive.
The Canadian Mortgage and Housing Corporation says housing starts need to double to over 430,000 a year for the next decade in order to meet demand.
The Liberals have promised to reach that pace, but only by the end of the decade. Builders are warning construction could continue to slow before it gets better.
All right, we're looking at Through the Bath Fitter Live Eye Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. That smoke haze continues to be a factor, not just here in Winnipeg, the entire province. I'll show you the warnings map in just a second. Let's first talk temperatures. We're at 18 degrees right now. That's up a degree from last hour all through the south. High teens and even a couple of low 20s now showing up. Normal lows for this time of year, 12 degrees. We were all well above that first thing this morning. Here's a look now through northern Manitoba, and you can see there too the temperatures are on the milder side, and even Churchill has moved from 9 degrees last hour to double digits now. The smoke, I mentioned that it is a factor again, with the heavy smoke warnings through the north, that's all of the purple that you're seeing, or the only slightly downgraded statement/advisories through much of central and southern Manitoba. Here in Winnipeg, visibility down to 3 kilometers. So things aren't exactly looking great so far. Maybe precipitation will help with that. We haven't seen the rain yet in Winnipeg, but you can see it through parts of the southwest, and parts of northern Manitoba can also expect some showers or possible thunderstorms with slightly below season seasonal temperatures here in southern Manitoba, but for northern Manitoba, where you're headed today, it's pretty much normal for this time of year. That'll put you up into the high teens, low 20s, and the low 20s expected here in the south when 25 is in fact normal for this time of year. So the next few days will actually be just below that with the possibility of precipitation. A spike with the temperatures Thursday before we settle back down, and slightly below seasonal temperatures expected this weekend. We'll see you right after this break.
Good morning, it's 8:15. There are growing warnings about bears in Alberta. And in one area, a team of experts is now educating tourists and locals on how to stay safe. With more on what's behind the boom in bear encounters, here's CTV's Kathy Lee.
Amidst the beauty in Kananaskis, the land bursts with berries. And where there are these juicy fruits, there are bears.
With bear spray.
An increase in Bruin activity in the area.
They're all over the place. Black bears and grizzly bears.
Prompted Derek Ryder and his team to set up at the Canmore Nordic Centre to alert visitors.
This is really important, especially for tourists who don't live here or are knowledgeable.
Alberta Parks confirms there are now 17 bear warnings and closures in various popular areas in Kananaskis country.
The Forestry and Parks Ministry says in July and August, bears are focused on eating as many buffalo berries as they can. The reason there have been an increase in human and bear encounters is because of the bumper berry crop, thanks to ideal weather.
We had a great amount of rain, but we also had warm at the right time.
Alberta Parks advises visitors to make noise, travel in groups, be aware of surroundings and bear warnings, keep pets on a leash, and carry bear spray anytime they're on the trails. These are precautions Howard Maw now takes every time in the backcountry after a grizzly lunged at him and his wife on a trail in Kananaskis country last month.
The lesson for us is that no matter what, if it's a short hike, even if you think it'll be a popular one with lots of people around, always be prepared.
The province says it's always looking for new ways to improve human-wildlife coexistence with various strategies to teach bears to be wary of people.
All the bear cares about is his berries.
But education for people about the bears also crucial.
If you run across a bear, stop, talk, walk. Stop. Assess what that bear is doing. If it's just got its hair in the bush and it's just eating, leave it alone.
Sound advice so that animal and human can both enjoy the beauty of nature and go home happy. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Kananaskis country.
Winnipeg is set to take aim at the world stage. For the first time ever, Canada will host the World Archery Youth Championships. Over 570 of the world's best young archers from around the globe will gather in Winnipeg for a week of competition, culture, and connection. Joining us this morning is Chair of WAYC 25 Winnipeg, Kelly Taylor. Good morning.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for joining us. Now, this all began for you in 2019 when you applied for this championship. Tell us a little bit about why you thought Winnipeg would be a good place to host this event.
Well, you know, it's funny. We were standing outside the bus waiting for our children to arrive for the 2019 World Archery Youth Championships in Madrid. And I said to the other parents, I said, you know, Winnipeg could host this. And they said, oh, no, you can't do that. It takes too much money. They'd never hold it here.
Yeah.
Right? So don't tell me I can't do something.
That was all you needed.
So, yeah. So anyways, I started investigating the process. I contacted Tourism Winnipeg, and they were all behind it. Mm-hmm. They were incredible support. We placed our bid, and in the fall of 2021, we found out that we had won the bid, and here we are.
Congratulations. This is incredible. Okay, well, let's talk about the event itself. Who's coming and what sort of competitions will be happening?
So we have 571 athletes from 63 countries around the world, and they will be competing in compound and recurve. So compound is the bows with the wheels at the end.
Okay.
And recurve is like Robin Hood would have shot.
Okay.
And they shoot at 50 meters for compound and 60 and 70 meters for recurve. And so the targets score out of 10. 10 is the maximum score. Starts with the qualifications on Tuesday, August 19th, and then it goes into eliminations. It's a single elimination. Archers compete head-to-head based on their seeding in the brackets. And eventually it culminates in the gold and bronze matches at the Forks.
We have a lot of really good archers in this province, don't we?
Yeah, well, when we were in Madrid, 6 of the 24 archers on Team Canada were from Manitoba.
Wow. So what makes us so good at this?
It might be our isolation.
Okay.
It might be the cold weather keeps us indoors for archery, and they're able to really focus on what they're doing. And we have a really good development program through Archery Manitoba as well.
So if someone's watching this right now, they think this is perfect for their kid, what should they do?
Well, the first thing to understand is that for the price of a single year of hockey, you can get set up for 4 years of sport in archery.
Wow.
Which is a huge economic incentive. We have lessons at Heights Outdoors on Portage Avenue and Heartland Archery in Elmwood on Keenly side.
Okay.
You can sign up through archerymanitoba.ca, and it's the perfect sport for kids.
That sounds amazing. Okay, so if somebody wants to come and check out this championship, or all the games that are happening, all the competitions, is it open to the public?
It's open to the public. We're selling tickets on our website, wayc2025.ca.
Okay.
Tickets are $10 for a day or $100 for an all-access pass, which includes every day at the competition venue, which is the Grant Park Soccer Complex, Winnipeg South End United, and the finals are at the Forks.
It sounds like a good time, and it sounds like even a better time for those kids who want to take part in a brand new sport. Thank you for sharing this with us. Again, if you want more information, the tournament is occurring from August 18th to the 24th. Thanks so much for this, and if you want more info, we have a link on our website.
All right, I've just been tending to my flowers, which Mother Nature has been tending to over the weekend. That's why they're looking so good. Check this out. From the rain that started on Friday, and we got about 5 millimeters. Where's the numbers there? 5 millimeters during the show on Friday. Now we're up to almost 20. So that's a cumulative since Friday morning. And what fell over the weekend, of course, Saturday and Sunday, both days we got a little more precipitation, and we'll likely get a little more today, so we'll get this nice and straight and ready to collect again. 18 degrees right now. It is a little bit smoky and hazy out here. There's winds out of the southwest that are 19 kilometers per hour. The pressure falling and the humidity sitting at 87%. That southwest wind might increase a little bit. We are expecting some slightly gustier conditions later today, but also perhaps some soggier conditions later today. No matter where you are in Manitoba, the possibility is there of some showers, maybe some thunderstorms, which hopefully will help with the smoke situation. Visibility is down to 3 kilometers according to Environment Canada at this time, although even with that poor visibility, we're only under the statement or advisory, unlike the straight up warning regarding the smoke that is blanketing much of northern Manitoba. So throughout the day today, everybody, the possibility of showers or thunderstorms that'll continue overnight and still for tomorrow as well. A little more sunshine expected midweek. Thanks to Gia. Speaking of sunshine, there it is setting behind the sunflowers, looking gorgeous out there. Keep the pictures coming, please, to Winnipeg Weather at CTV.ca.
CTV Morning Live Weather is brought to you by Destination Dinner Stage, Manitoba's only musical dinner theater.
This popular Broadway musical is moving from the stage to your screen.
Alexander Hamilton. My name is Alexander Hamilton.
Hamilton will be coming to theaters September 5th. It's all to celebrate the 10-year anniversary of the show. It will also feature an exclusive cast reunion, including, of course, Lin-Manuel Miranda. Tickets are already on sale. They were probably the last girls at the party. The Beaches and Nelly Furtado share the stage to sing a rendition of Furtado's Man Eater song. This happened during a festival in Budapest late last week. Furtado also shared this side stage moment during the Beaches set. She called it Canadian Gold. As music artists aim for a #1 single, several tracks from a recent Netflix movie are having a strong run at the top of the charts. That song is called Golden, and it's from the recent animated film K-pop Demon Hunters. It tells the story of a fictional K-pop group who also happen to battle demons by night. Golden has been the #1 track on Spotify's daily chart for 49 days so far. It's also reached the top of the Billboard Global 200 and #2 on the Hot 100. That came as K-pop Demon Hunter secured its spot as the most streamed animated film on Netflix to date.
CTV Morning Live is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
Downtown Winnipeg is about to turn up the volume. The biggest street party of the summer is back. The Burt Block Party is celebrating its 5th year with an unforgettable lineup of Canadian music legends. It's 4 nights of pure energy right outside the Burton Cummings Theatre, August 14th to the 17th. Joining me now from True North Sports and Entertainment is Kevin Donnelly. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. Now let's talk about this lineup. Tell us who's going to be there.
Well, it's as you mentioned, we think it's our best lineup to date. This is our 5th year doing it. We close the streets in front of the Burton Cummings Theatre, take over the parking lot, put up a huge stage. We have food trucks and try to bring a bunch of entertainment down. So on Thursday night, we've got Dean Brody, great Canadian country artist, with Owen Riegling as his opening artist. On Friday, we have Mariana's Trench, which is a sold-out show. That show just blew out, so there's no tickets available for Mariana's Trench. They're playing with Down with Webster. On Saturday, the Glorious Sons, and on Sunday, Kim Mitchell, Harlequin, and Chilliwack's final performance in Winnipeg.
True Canadian glory, that's for sure. Why do you think Friday was a sellout? Have you ever seen that happen before?
Well, that's our biggest night so far at the Burt Block parties. But, you know, the band is super popular. They've got legions of fans. They sold out, I think, 2 nights at the Burt indoors last year. So this is the popularity of the band. But I think people are starting to understand the setup and what we do down there at the block parties. So I think it's a combination of we're developing something that we're really proud of down there on Smith Street, and also the fact that these bands are really catching the audience attention.
Let's talk about what it feels like when you're there, because it's a really cool vibe. I've been to a few shows. The skyline itself is amazing to look at while you're watching these bands. Tell us a little bit about the feel and the vibe and the sense you get there.
Well, that's a great point. I mean, we're right on the edge of the Exchange District, and so a lot of times you're downtown, you're just sort of moving. You're driving or walking, and you're not really paying attention to what, you know, beautiful buildings we've got downtown. So putting the stage down in that parking lot, it allows you to stand there and sort of enjoy your environment. And you look around, Winnipeg has a great skyline. We've been blessed with great weather to date, and we're crossing our fingers for this week. So you watch the sun go down. It's great music in a Manitoba summer night, surrounded by your friends and maybe 4,000 strangers, and you have a beverage in your hand. So it's a combination of Manitoba summer nights, great music, cool environment, and just a lot of fun.
It's also cool because you could either stand up and dance all night if you want, or you could bring your own chair.
Bring your lawn chairs. There's lots of room for that, but you know, the people at the front do like to stand and party. So it's an unreserved setting. You've got to kind of find your own spot within the concert area. But we think it's fun. We think that this effort has really paid off for us. We like seeing people come downtown, but to do it outside in the summer in Manitoba is pretty special.
And what do you hear from the bands once it's all said and done? What did they say about the experience?
Well, they love it. I mean, you know, sometimes they think that they're playing inside. They don't understand the layout, that they think they're coming back and playing inside the Burton Cummings Theatre. We say, no, you're on the sidewalk. And so that gets a little bit of a surprise. But, you know, for the most part, the audience has been really great every year. So we give them, you know, friendly Manitoba treatment, and the artists love it. And
there are some VIP experiences people can have as well. Can you explain what that is?
For those people that like a little of the finer elements of life, we've got a reserve section that's got elevated seating, separated washrooms and bar service, and just a covered area for you to, like, there's a couple tents for you to watch the artists in. So it's a elevated experience. It includes a couple drinks and a snack. So if that's what you want to do, separate yourself from the main crowd, we've got that VIP package available every night.
The Burt Block Party kicks off Thursday, runs until Sunday. Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks. See ya.
And is it going to be nice weather for that?
It's going to be perfect weather for that. The nicest thing about it, it's not going to be too hot. Our temperatures for the weekend, moderate, really pleasant. And it does look like it'll be on the drier side too. Unlike today, which is not just smoky, but it could be a little bit wet. 18 degrees with southwest winds, 19 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 87%. We're not seeing that rain just yet, but we very likely will at some point today. What we are seeing right now is the smoke and the advisory in place all through central and southern Manitoba, and now it's been issued through parts of northwestern Ontario as well, or the warning, even worse, across northern Manitoba. That's all of the purple that you're seeing. And I mean, worse, we're already down to 3 kilometers visibility here in Winnipeg, so you can just imagine what worse would mean up across northern Manitoba. Here's a look at the precipitation that we're currently seeing right now through southern Manitoba. While it doesn't show on our satellite image across northern Manitoba, It will be raining there as well. At times, showers or the possibility of thunderstorms. Now, the temperatures, they're not going to be too hot, not today or the next few days. In fact, 25 is normal for this time of year. We'll probably top out at about 23 degrees with that chance of showers or maybe some thunderstorms, and winds increasing out of the southwest, at times getting to 40 kilometers per hour. Southwest winds overnight, but they will be tapering, though that chance of showers and thunderstorms continues. 15 degrees as our low, when 12 would be a seasonal low. I mentioned 25 a normal daytime high. Tomorrow could be even cooler yet. But that chance of showers or thunderstorms will still be there, and winds shifting out of the northwest, at times getting up to 40 clicks. And then you can see Wednesday a little bit clearer and brighter, and then a little bit hotter on Thursday. Only for a day. We do have a chance of storms again throughout Thursday, but then those temperatures settle down, quite moderate and pleasant throughout the weekend ahead.
Thanks, Terry. Winnipeg fire crews were kept busy Sunday evening at the scene of a house fire in St. Vital. According to a news release, firefighters were called to a fire on Southwalk Bay at around 7:40 p.m. On arrival, they found heavy smoke and flames coming from the house. Firefighters attacked the fire and prevented it from spreading to nearby homes. The blaze was declared under control at around 9:30 p.m. One firefighter sustained an injury during the response but did not need transportation to hospital. Preliminary observations suggest one home is expected to be a total loss. Another home sustained damage from the fire. The fire is under investigation. Members of Broken Head Ojibwe Nation have voted against a proposed partnership with a silica mining company following a community referendum held last week. According to results shared by the First Nation on Facebook, 310 ballots were cast. A total of 181 members voted no to the proposal, while 129 voted yes. In the social media post, Chief and Council thanked community members for participating and said they respect the outcome. The leadership said the referendum will serve as a foundation for developing clearer, community-driven processes for future engagement. Broken Head Ojibwe Nation is located about 70 kilometers northeast of Winnipeg. Advanced polls for a by-election in the Alberta riding of Battle River Crowfoot close tonight.
What he seems to be having right now in terms of a margin is huge, right? Like it's definitely big enough that even if some of the other candidates on the ballot manage to get somewhere, it's not going to be anything like a vote split or anything that would cause a problem for Poilievre.
Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre is hoping to regain a seat in Parliament by running there after more than 20 years representing an Ottawa area riding. He lost to a Liberal candidate in April's federal election. 214 people are running in the by-election, which is the largest federal ballot in Canadian history. Voters must fill out their ballot instead of the standard list-style ballot. Election night is on August 18th. 5 people were plucked from the water Saturday by Pinawa rescue crews aided by EMS and the RCMP. In a post on social media, Pinawa Fire Rescue said 5 people without life jackets or paddles were stranded in the float channel where they were overwhelmed by swift water. Crews responded to a 911 call, and using equipment from Pinawa Unplugged, they successfully reached the 5 and brought them to safety. The post indicated the 5 were all non-swimming adults. A museum in southern Alberta is featuring a vintage Caterpillar for the brand's 100th anniversary. The bright yellow machinery is found on construction sites across the country. CTV's Kevin Fleming reports.
Volunteers at Pioneer Acres are moving equipment around the property to get everything ready for their 3-day event. It's the 55th annual show, and every year it features a different brand of machinery. This year it's celebrating a century of Caterpillar equipment.
The company started 100 years ago, 1925, but they didn't start from scratch. They were the merger between 2 competing companies, Holt and Best, and Mr. Holt had actually got a patent and invented the track system for the tractors. Because where he was selling tractors, they had the kind of soil that wheels didn't work very well on.
Ole Olsen spent a career working on the big machines and remembers fixing one that was hit by a train. He says they were built well and are powerful.
The D8 there, you're looking at an engine that's probably, I'm not 100% sure, but it's probably it's over the 300 horse. But the torque on it is astronomical because of the tracks, the gearing. So yes, they got tons of power.
The museum also has about 40 antique trucks like this Ottawa with a Cat engine that Harry Redding says is in perfect working condition.
Diesel engines,
in highway transport started in the late 20s, early 30s, but really didn't become popular until the 1950s. You started to see them more in transport trucks in the United States and here in Canada.
The museum covers a large area, and while it's filled with historic equipment, there are also other exhibits about southern Alberta farm life for visitors to learn about.
We have a wonderful Singer sewing machine display this year. There's an awesome quilting display. We have a bake sale, fresh baked buns. Yesterday they were busy baking buns in the kitchen.
Organizers say there will be close to 5,000 people attend the event over 3 days. Kevin Fleming, CTV News, near Irricana.
Let's take a look now what's going on in traffic along Donald Street. It looks like things are moving well over here. It's hazy, it's smoky though. It might affect your drive this morning. If you see any problems out there, please let us know. And here's a look at your gas prices now. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial average is lower at $1.33. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.24. The lowest price in the city is $1.27. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
Price at the pump brought to you by kidneycard.ca. Get a free tow and a tax receipt for value of your car.
For our cue of the day, we wanted to know if you could invite any local band or artist to perform at the Burt Block Party, who would it be? And Don says, I think we should have the namesake here, Burton Cummings. Thanks, Don. I would also love to see Rami Shand at the Burt Block Party, says Tony Sini. Thank you so much for your responses. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live this morning at the French-Canadian Pavilion. It's a good one. Good morning.
I know it's a good one. Every day at my desk is the French-Canadian Pavilion with you and me bantering.
Absolutely.
It's the best. You're my favorite, but that's why I know I'm having so much fun here. Seriously, I'm going to learn how to play the spoons, and I'm going to learn the historical significance as well. Both Gabrielles joins us now. They're the ambassadors, the youth ambassadors here at the Pavilion. How do you play? So I get the red one because it matches my dress, but you give me a little bit of a lesson.
All right, so basically you just hit your thigh, and then you also you're supposed to use 2 hands, but you use your other hand to hit it. And then you can just...
And then you find the beat. That's how the music all starts. It's really from nothing. Okay, and this is something that was actually used from the kitchen. It wasn't just a spoon as a... it was to eat is what I'm trying to say.
Exactly. So the voyageurs, when they came from France, they would be in canoes, and, well, you couldn't bring a lot of instruments. Obviously, you can't bring a guitar. You don't have space for that. Yeah. So they would use their wooden spoons that they would eat with. They would play music with. Yeah.
You know what that makes me want to do? It makes me want to jig.
And you know what? We can do that. But so this is a toy that the young children used to play with to imitate jigging. So if I just try and imitate it and play with it, they would flick the palette and make the little boy jump up and down to imitate the jigging that you see at our pavilion.
Oh, that's so much fun. And you can purchase them here.
Yeah, you can. So behind us we have our boutique. There's little jiggermans, there's spoons, other goodies as well. You can purchase ceinture fléchées that have our thing on. They won't have this exact garment, but it'll be very similar.
And maple treats too. Even the drinks have maple in them. Okay. A, B, C, D. We're out of time.
All right. You do it well. Thank you, Ainsley.
H-I-J-K-L-M-N-O-P.
And then what? Q,
S, T-U-V, W-X, Y, and Z.
Oui, bravo. Good job. How's it feeling out there?
Mild, but a little bit muggy and a little bit smoky. We're still seeing that heavy haze hanging over the city right now, with air quality statements and advisories issued all through central and southern Manitoba, and then the straight up warnings regarding the smoke all across northern Manitoba. Temperature-wise, though, above seasonal to kick things off. 12 would be a normal low. We've been above that all morning long, now sitting at 18 degrees with a southwest wind 19 clicks. The pressure is falling and the humidity sitting at 87%. There's a bit of sunshine out here trying to get through the clouds, but we certainly noticed the clouds increasing over the course of the morning. We've been keeping our eye on the satellite image where there's precipitation falling just to the west of us, and we'll likely see that rolling over southeastern Manitoba later on today and across northern Manitoba. Nearly everybody throughout the entire province, that possibility of showers, maybe some thunderstorms today. Again, we will welcome the precipitation. I've emptied out my rain gauge to get ready for the next bit of rain over the course of the weekend starting Friday, and accumulative through the weekend. We got almost 20 millimeters here on the rooftop, the CTV buildings. We'll see how much more we get over the next couple of days. It'll continue, and then probably a drier day expected midweek. Taking a break right now. We'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Weather brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful at 900 Lorimer Boulevard, featuring Hunter Douglas shades.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
With summer still in full swing, it's hard to believe back-to-school shopping is already underway, and this year it's coming with sticker shock as parents get a lesson on navigating tariffs. CTV's Abigail Beeman has more.
The trade war has this mom shopping around.
I'm looking more for secondhand, more of it, so. Or I'm buying on the marketplace.
Back to school shopping in full swing at Ottawa's thrifted mini consignment store, with parents looking to escape tariff headaches and costs.
It's definitely been a lot busier than last year. We're looking at a bigger increase in sales and a lot more new people, fresh faces that are coming in.
89% of Canadian parents think back-to-school costs have climbed, according to a new study from Rakuten, with nearly 3 in 4 admitting to going over budget, most blaming inflation.
Things like electronics, footwear, apparel, and those items are going to see fairly high increases in price.
Retail experts say tariffs are having an impact, but for a few reasons it's hard to say exactly how big. Some stores loaded up on inventory ahead of tariffs, and those prices should stay stable. At the same time, Bruce Winder says costs can climb from big brands harmonizing prices in the U.S. and Canada, or even jacking up prices just because they know customers are mentally prepared for it, as happened in COVID.
Because supply chains are mucked up here, we might see shortages of items too. So if you really need a certain item, you may have to sort of strike while the iron's hot if it's on the shelf. But all things equal, try to look for that sale.
Another piece of consumer advice: resist the urge to buy supplies until after your children start school.
People are unintentionally or unknowingly turning a want into a need and using the tariffs to justify that without really actually knowing for sure if it's needed.
If you can wait, there will still be sales after Labor Day as stores need to clear out inventory, while the full impact of the trade war may not be clear until next year's back-to-school shopping season.
We've got a very special guest in studio today, and no, I'm not talking about the humankind. Winnipeg Animal Services is currently bursting at the seams, caring for over 40 dogs, many of them strays. While their team is working hard to provide shelter and care, they're also hoping for something even better: loving homes for these pups. Joining me now is Community Relations Coordinator Jennifer Medlicott, along with her furry friend Sebastian, as well as Camille, who is his handler right now. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning. Thanks for having us.
Sebastian's a beautiful dog.
He really is.
He's a stray?
He was actually surrendered to us a few months ago, but he's a really lovely dog. Our doggy daters love him. They can't say enough good things about him.
Tell us a little bit about him.
Well, he's a little bit excited this morning to be on TV, but he's just really, usually on walks, he's really well behaved, and he's very social. He loves meeting people. He's good with other dogs. So he's just a really loving boy.
And he's really sweet. He just looked right deep into my eyes and into my soul. He's looking for a forever home.
He is.
He's not the only one. Tell us what's going on at Animal Services right now.
Yeah, so we've been here before talking about this story. We see these influxes usually during the warmer weather, but we just aren't getting that reprieve. 3 to 7 strays are coming in daily. People aren't picking up their dogs after that stray period where we're trying to reunite them, and our numbers just don't seem to get back to a stable number, unfortunately.
And you are really only fitted for about 25 dogs there.
Yeah, comfortably we're with 25 dogs. So when we're above that, that's when, you know, the level of care has to come down just to try and manage all the bodies in the building. So
you're double kenneling, or yes, they're sharing sort of the same space? Or
well, they usually have a long run, and when we're full, we split those kennels in half, so they're getting about half the size that they would normally get.
So that's not really fair to them either. So what do you want people to know about this? What can they do to support you and help these dogs?
Yeah, well, I think a really big important piece is spaying and neutering your dog. Dogs are less likely to want to roam, so if that's a problem that people are experiencing, that'll help. That'll also reduce the fee for licensing. All dogs in Winnipeg need to be licensed. If they're licensed and we find them, we can reunite them in the field. They don't even have to come to our facility at all. We could get them back with their loving owners right away, and that's the ending we want to have.
But you do have almost 50 dogs in there right now, and they need some love. And so what do you want people to know if they're looking for a dog? What should they do?
Yeah, so the dogs that we have available, they can come down to our facility at 1057 Logan and adopt them. Right now, Sebastian has a reduced adoption fee, as with a few of our longer term dogs. So for $185, you can get Sebastian, who's lovely.
Look at him.
And he's already been neutered.
He knows we're talking about him.
He has all up to date on his vaccines, and it'll come with a first year of licensing.
And that's also what happens with any dog there. You have a lot of females as well, and so they're licensed for a year.
Yeah.
They're all spayed and neutered. Most of the stuff that needs to be done to that dog is already done for you at no cost.
Exactly. So they're fully vetted. We take, you know, great care of all the animals when they're in.
Okay, so if somebody wants to adopt a dog, because you have many to choose from right now, do they just show up? Hi.
Yeah, so our adoption hours Monday through Friday are 12 to 5:30. So just come down to our facility. We have a board where you can see all the pictures of all the dogs available, and you can schedule a meet and greet and go from there.
Look at him. Okay, let's just look at Sebastian's face right now. He's busy. He's showing lots of love. This is the love you can have in your home. He just wants to share some love with you.
Yeah.
Again, if you want more information on how to adopt one of these animals, please contact them directly, and we have a link on our website. Thank you to both of you. Thank you, Sebastian.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
Oh, Sebastian, you got my heart, that's for sure. All right, it's 18 degrees outside. Southwest winds 19 kilometers per hour. The pressure is falling and the humidity is sitting at 87%. That smoke hanging over the city has prompted the air quality statements or advisories. That's the yellow that you're seeing, or even worse, through northern Manitoba. All of that purple is a straight up warning regarding the smoke. And if you think here in Winnipeg, we're just under the advisory with visibility down to 3 kilometers. You can only imagine what northern Manitoba is dealing with right now. Here's the rain getting a little bit closer to Winnipeg, and we will see that passing over much of southern Manitoba. You can see it here. You can't see it across northern Manitoba on our satellite map, but you too can expect some showers or some possible thunderstorms. We'll see that activity continuing overnight and still through tomorrow. That possibility is there. Now, 25 degrees is a normal daytime high. We'll be missing the mark just slightly over the next few days, but we will get a little blast of heat back on Thursday. So a couple of days of precipitation, a dry day Wednesday, Thursday with that heat. We have a chance of some storms again, and then settling down, a really perfect weekend ahead with some sunshine and some low 20 temperatures, moderate and pleasant. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Rooftop arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center.
Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
Before we say goodbye, we're going on a road trip. Better pack the essentials.
Real estate magazine?
Save room for the tractor catalog. This little guy can't go anywhere without some light reading. Move over, Thomas, the tank engine. That's such a boy thing to do. He's so cute.
Getting into the tractors? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And have you ever loved something so much you wanted to take a bite out of it? Baby toes, take a bite of this. Check this out. This talented creator makes stylish clothes and accessories out of pasta dough, mixing their passion for fashion with their love of cooking tasty meals. That's incredible.
Weird.
Wow.
Okay.
Look at the little shoes.
No, I don't want to eat shoes.
Oh my goodness.
Like,
that is unique.
You walk in dirty places. I don't want to eat your pants either. What's up with this?
Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow.